pontiff elected, it will turn to white and gold bunting. There is a photograph of the pontiff on the altar of St. Patrick's Cathedral amid the flowers and the thoughts and the prayers. He's remembered today as a man of social justice who defended migrants and the poor and who was an activist for those who are less fortunate. Cardinal Dolan said it was especially poignant that his last public appearance was just yesterday on Easter, greeting the faithful in St. Peter's Square.
President Trump ordering flags at federal buildings and military installation be flown at half-staff.
He was a good man, worked hard. He loved the world, and it's an honor to do that.
Other world leaders are reacting to the death of Pope Francis. Fox's Jonathan Savage reporting from London.
King Charles and Queen Camilla were among the final world leaders to meet Pope Francis when they visited the Vatican earlier this month. Charles says he's deeply saddened by Pope Francis's passing at the age of 88. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer paid tribute to what he called the Pope's tireless efforts to create a world that is fairer for all. Russian leader Vladimir Putin called Francis a defender of the highest values of humanism and justice. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni described the late pontiff as a great man and a great shepherd. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Pope Francis' papacy began on March 13, 2013. He spent 38 days in the hospital this year, longest of his papacy. America's listening to Fox News.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. A brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk. Wireless by Americans for Americans.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/today. Ethos.com/today.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Build month.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
A pretty nice Monday afternoon of weather, partly to mostly sunny skies. It's a little on the windy side, though, but nice temperatures, 71. Tonight, clear skies, 60s for evening plans, 51 for the overnight low. Tuesday, sunny. Let's warm it up quickly to 80 degrees Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, partly sunny, couple of spot-limited showers, 80, but increasing rain and thunderstorms Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This could be the #1 tax saving strategy for your retirement savings, and it's hidden inside IRS tax code section 1.408A-4. Discover what it is and how you can make your money go further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey, it's Sue Thomas, and this is a one one-night class. It's taught by advisors from financial and tax architects. They have decades of financial planning experience, and they hold these at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis, and you'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing Social Security, paying for health care, and more. And they do it for free, but bring 3 canned goods for St. Louis Crisis Nursery. There are a few openings left for classes this month, so register now by calling 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012. That's 314-947-2012.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not married sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I'm really into this. No, I'm really into this. It's tough though. We don't have a white crayon. What am I going to do? Leave it wet, I guess. Leave the whole thing white. Okay, smile up there, kids. Where your mom and dad said.
There you have President Trump sitting outside of the White House with the Washington Memorial behind him, surrounded by children in the most beautiful spring colors, coloring pictures at the Easter egg roll. The more that Donald Trump is humanized, the more that people start to see him not as, some political figure, but more so as an actual human being, the more he wins. And he's winning again today at the Easter egg roll, which has been taking place this morning. I'm amazed at how much the media has lost distance and ground in an effort to try to make sure that you never look at Donald Trump like he could be somebody who you know personally. Like he could be your grandpa, like he could be your uncle, like your dad, or whatever it might be. Do you remember back in the day, the first time around where they were constantly saying, would you want President Trump to watch your children? This was the 2016 election victory model of Donald Trump. They wanted to make sure that you thought that he was the most evil person that you could manifest in your mind. And somehow or another, he had stolen the reins of the United States of America. And he did it through nefarious means and our greatest enemies in Russia. This is the type of guy he is. And now in his second term, on April 21st of 2025, he is sitting in the White House, with which he resides once again, coloring Easter pictures with a bunch of kids who look like they're about 7 or 8 years old, and everyone's having a great time. He's not a perfect person. He never was a perfect person. I don't think that he ever has even pretended or claimed to be a perfect person, but the left had been so successful in absolute journalistic negligence and malfeasance to try to make him look as though he had put on a pedestal so that his fall would be so significant and so great. And it was very successful for some time. And it's just not anymore. I hear people starting to discuss, not so much in the mainstream media, they're not really discussing Donald Trump as some sort of, they still, throw the names around, the pejoratives that you hear, the Nazi Hitler allegations surrounding Donald Trump. They still do that in some corners of the mainstream media, but they are starting to talk more about the benefits or the detractions of tariffs. They're starting to talk a little bit more about the specifics of the policies that President Trump is implementing a little bit. In some places, there is a shift. It's not fixed. It's never going to be fixed. You're always going to have a media that represents what the far left thinks, what the left thinks, what the middle thinks, what the center right thinks and what the far right thinks. There's a lot of media options out there today, which is a huge part of the reason that this shift has taken place and that Donald Trump is back in the Oval Office once again. You would never imagine in the 4 years that he was president the first time, in the years that existed in the Joe Biden presidency, you would not imagine this very beautiful image of President Trump sitting at what could be essentially a picnic table, crayons all over the place, sitting with these kids, coloring a picture just like grandpas do. You weren't supposed to believe that image was even a possibility, but we have it right now. And I think it's an important one. Hope you had a wonderful Easter weekend. I had a great Easter weekend with my family, great birthday weekend as well. Happy to be back today on an Easter Monday. I know a lot of y'all are off today. Good for you. Happy for you. My whole family is still off. School's out, so they go back tomorrow. A big news story over the weekend, of course, is the death of the Pope. 88 years old, and he is passed on. And I know that we do have many people listening to this show who are Catholic. This is an important moment in Catholic history here, Catholic history here, where you're going to look to what happens next with that position. None of us here on this show are Catholic, but we do understand the historical significance of it. And we will continue to cover the story as it develops. But I always struggle with that issue, particularly because I am not Catholic, and it's such a specific to Catholic Church, the respect and everything and the role. I always want to make sure that I cover it, but we probably won't dwell on it. We'll develop the news stories here on the show as it happens, because it is a very big moment. 88 years old. Of course, J.D. Vance was visiting with him this weekend. My understanding is there wasn't a lot of conversation between the two. The Pope did present J.D. Vance with a rosary as well, which I think is something that he will certainly cherish for quite some time. The president at the Easter egg roll today was answering some questions.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, and a very happy Easter to everyone. It was a beautiful day yesterday, and it's a beautiful day today. We don't have to worry about sunburn, but looks like it's not going to be raining. It's going to be really something special. 42,000 people are expected all throughout the day, and it's an honor to have you. I just signed an executive order putting the flags of our country, all of them, all federal flags and state flags, at half-mast in honor of Pope Francis. So he was a good man, worked hard. He loved the world, and it's an honor to do that. I want to thank everybody for being here. This is some band. I've heard this band actually indirectly for 4 years and very directly now for 4.5. And I like the direct method even better. But the Marine Corps band is very, very special. Thank you very much. What a great job.
So I'm going to cut it off right there. They're speaking. I mean, the visual of this is really stunning. They're outstanding in a balcony so they can look over everybody who is there participating in the Easter egg roll, which I assume is kind of like trick-or-treating, but on Easter.
Yeah, I think this is mostly ceremonial. This is just
well, yeah. I mean, it's only ceremonial.
I mean, it's only ceremonial, but
I don't think there's an official.
But
act.
it's not even on Easter, so it's purely just for fun.
I appreciate that it's not on Easter though, because if you're going to do something to acknowledge Easter, especially with the holy holiday, the only other really way to do it is Saturday. But many people are observing fast and stuff during Holy Week and Easter Saturday. So I think a couple things about this delivery. The flags are going to be at half-mast in honor and respect of Pope Francis. I think that's a nice gesture that he can make on that day. The visual here, though, if you hear White House and Easter Bunny, the only thing you're going to think about is Joe Biden.
It's the same
that
thing.
might be Joe Biden in that bunny suit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it could be him. They're like, just stand here. Just follow the marks on the ground. He's going to do it.
He will do exactly as
we
told.
need you to wear this. It's a super secret costume.
Yeah, like you never see Joe Biden and the Easter Bunny in the same place at the same time.
That's not true.
Oh, wait, that's not true.
No, actually, it was his handler. I just want to comment, if you haven't seen the Easter Bunny that, done with his work yesterday, of course, now he is at the White House. I think that's probably another reason why they have it on Monday. It's hard to get the Easter Bunny on Easter.
Oh, I didn't think
lie.
about that.
You can't. It's like it's like Donald Trump is like a man of the people.
It's like getting the Tooth Fairy to come to a hockey game.
Okay, I'll give you that one. But this bunny is the least creepy Easter bunny I've ever seen.
Yeah, he looks pretty cool.
I think that's the real one. He's brown with a little white tummy, a little pink in his ears, as bunnies are apt to do. But a lot of times you see these imitators of the Easter bunny, and they're white, and they don't really look like rabbits. They look like people trying to look like rabbits.
That makes me so mad when I see that.
It's an imposter situation. This is the bunny. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah. When I see that bunny, I'm like, that's a real rabbit. But sometimes with all the fuzz and the fur, and you can tell the head's kind of shuffling around, you're like, that's clearly a person in a costume.
This is not it. And it speaks more to the humanization of Donald Trump that he was able to get the real one.
Yeah. Yeah. The anthropomorphism.
You want to try that again?
No, thanks.
One time's good enough. Do you guys, Brian, you have anything you want to say about the Pope?
Shocked to see that news this morning, especially because everybody's just like me saw the news yesterday of JD Vance meeting with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wake up this morning, you're like, wow, he wasn't in the hospital in those pictures. So
he had been asked to stay inside. He had been asked to rest. He had been asked to stay put. And he said no.
Yeah, which is great. He was, Donald Trump, it's funny, the things that Donald Trump praised about him. He worked hard. He loved the world. He apparently did. He was working very hard. He's working yesterday in a sense, still meeting with world leaders on Easter. Really, it's neat, kind of symbolic that he was taken home the day after Easter. I think that's neat.
Easter. Was the day after? It was Easter.
Well, I guess, was it Rome time? Was still Easter?
The reports are that he passed away.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize
Unless
that.
I got it wrong. What do you think?
Well, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I was Catholic up until, I don't know, I was 18, and then I converted to being a Baptist. But this to Catholics is a big deal, and my heart goes out to all of you as you mourn the loss of your pontiff, and you wait to see what the cardinals do to get together, who your next church leader is going to be. Like Donald Trump said, this man worked really hard, and he did in fact care for people. Couple of things that I appreciate about him, and in certain areas of the Catholic Church and Catholic doctrine, he was very hardline. I know in other areas he received a lot of criticism, but he was steadfast in his beliefs and
anthropomorphism.
No, that is not what I was thinking. That is not a Catholic doctrine, Ryan.
Oh my God!
No, I wasn't saying it was. I was just saying I pronounced it correctly now.
That was a really great time to get it right.
I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that I had it.
He also died on Easter Monday, since we're clearing things up.
It was Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got it right.
Anyway, my heart goes out to you all out there, and
thanks, Brad. Sorry about that.
I'll forgive you.
This is
thank you.
I think it's a huge deal. You've been Catholic. My dad was Catholic. Most of my husband's family is Catholic, but I've always been Lutheran. So it'll be interesting to see too. There's definitely political ramifications as to who the Catholic Church chooses to be the next pope. I think it will be interesting to see the way the culture shifts, the selection of the next pope. And my understanding is this can be a little bit of a lengthy process, longer than you would think. I feel like, because I am not part of it and I don't know enough about it, I feel like there should just be like a pope in waiting, like a vice pope. But
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So they'll have to get is it the cardinals together, and then they will select a new one.
And then we
the
wait.
Smoke will be white.
Yeah, for the smoke. I remember doing that a few
Is
years
the smoke
ago.
white? It's black until they have one or something like that.
I don't remember the process.
I remember the last time we had one, it was a big deal for that moment in time. And then, So clearly, this is why I don't want to talk about it too much, because I don't want to disrespect Catholics in not knowing about this. So we will update you with the news as it continues to happen. When we come back, Gregg Jarrett is going to be with us, and we're going to talk to him about a couple of issues. The Supreme Court ruled on deportations of more gang members, bad guys that are being rounded up by the Trump administration. They put a late night halt on that. We'll talk to Gregg Jarrett about that, as well as the likelihood of the Letitia James suit against her for mortgage fraud. Does that have legs? Is that going to go anywhere? Gregg, Jarrett, Fox News legal analyst, is going to be with us next. We'll have Ryan Schmelz in the 1 o'clock hour for a Capitol Hill update. We're going to find out how those tax cuts, the permanent, making permanent of those tax cuts, the Trump tax cuts, how is that going? Ryan Schmelz at 1:25, but Gregg, Jarrett from Fox News next on the Annie Frey Show.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
ArtisticDecks.net. If you are looking for an affordable option to be able to have your dream deck on your home this year, this summer, you need to reach out to ArtisticDecks.net or call them directly at 314-280-0821. 314-280-0821. Partner up with Artistic Decks to make sure that your St. Louis home is going to have the dream deck on the back of your house. They helped you craft the perfect design. They use the best materials to make sure that your investment in your deck, while affordable, is still the very, very best. They have customized decks for folks just like you for years, decades even. They offer free design and consultation for your deck, specializing in PVC and wood composite, along with treated and cedar decks as well. And of course, they're insured. You can ask them about their over 500 square foot deck discount. Book now and get your deck built before summer sets in. A small down payment gets you on the schedule. You just need to give them a call. 314-280-0821. 314-280-0821. Call my friends at Artistic Decks, ArtisticDecks.net.
Get ready, St. Louis. The largest Walk for Wishes in the nation is back. Join us on May 3rd at Energizer Park in downtown St. Louis for the Walk for Wishes and 5K race presented by Spectrum. Run, walk, roll, or stroll and celebrate the power of a wish with a 5K race or 1 mile fun walk, all benefiting our local Make-A-Wish chapter. Sign up today and help grant life-changing wishes for children with critical illnesses. Visit walkforwishesstl.com to register today.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Human trafficking is occurring right here in Missouri. You can help combat it by learning the signs of human trafficking and reporting suspicious activity to law enforcement. Victims may appear malnourished, show signs of mental or physical abuse, or avoid social interaction. If you're a victim or know someone who needs help, contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or text the word HELP to be free. Together, we can fight human trafficking in Missouri.
Brought to you by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
Camping season is here, and it's time to get out and love the outdoors, starting with Apache Village RV at our open house in Hazelwood and our newest location in Wentzville. Join us on Friday, May 2nd and Saturday, May 3rd in Hazelwood at 9001 Dunn Road just off Highway 270 and in Wentzville at 971 Wilmer Road just off Highway 70. Apache Village RV has been family-owned for 50 years, helping families create a lifetime of memories. Stop by our open house and check out over 200 new and used RVs from the top manufacturers like Jayco, Keystone, Fleetwood, and Bontrager Outdoors. Financing available with camper payments as low as $160 per month with approved credit. We will have raffles for prizes at both locations, huge RV savings, food, and drinks. Mention this ad and that you heard it on 97.1, and you can enter for a chance to win $500 to our parts store. Apache Village RVs. Commitment to you starts when you enter the door. Go one better. Go Apache Village RV.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
The Supreme Court today telling the Trump administration to halt its deportation flights of some detained Venezuelans in Texas. Individuals it is claimed are gang members and should be deported under the Alien Enemies Act.
Well, that was the news development, and the courts continue to push back against Donald Trump's efforts to try to get the bad guys out of the country that were let in the front door. We want to get to our legal expert friend to talk about what this all means. Gregg Jarrett joins us once again, Fox News legal analyst and former defense attorney and law professor. His latest book, The Constitution and Other Patriot Documents. Gregg, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us.
Good to be with you, Annie. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Can you break down for us a little bit of what was decided here late in the evening to stop those deportations that the Trump administration had lined up? Why was this the ruling that the Supreme Court came to?
Well, it wasn't so much a ruling as it was putting a hold on the removal of Venezuelans who are being held at an ICE detention center in Texas. It's a temporary hold pending a further review by the High Court of the deportation issue. It's a pause, not a ruling by itself by the High Court. The justices, I think, here really want to buy time to figure out what in the world to do. Earlier, they had stated that deportations could indeed proceed under the Alien Enemies Act, as long as there's some kind of due process so that those being removed have a chance to argue their case in court. But I must say this surprise action by the Supreme Court, it's unusual, if not troubling. It seemed very hasty and premature. It happened over the course of less than 8 hours. And as the dissent by Alito and Thomas correctly points out, how exactly does the High Court even have jurisdiction? The Fifth Circuit below them said it had no jurisdiction and refused to intervene. So, no lower court has really made a decision on the merits, nor was there even a chance for the Trump administration to make their case in any way and utter a word. There was not even a hearing. So it is very unusual. And we'll wait and see what the Supreme Court does next. But I think they're just trying to buy time to figure it out.
Do you feel, Gregg Jarrett, that the Trump administration acted too hasty in the methodology with which they wanted to remove these individuals? Should they have done something to put them on better legal footing?
Well, one can always, second guess. Now that we know the Supreme Court has said, in terms of these mass deportations of MS-13 and TDA, designated terrorist organizations, that you have to have some due process. I suppose in retrospect, you can say, well, the Trump administration and the lawyers there should have done that. But, that had never been decided or considered by any court. And so now the Supreme Court has done that.
We're speaking with Gregg Jarrett, of course, Fox News legal analyst. I have a question for you. It's a theory that I have, and it's just that when the Biden administration was doing what they needed to do to get all these people in here, I mean, it seems as though it was the importation of all of these people was either a great success or a great failure. It just depends on what the Biden administration's intentions were. Do you think that they knew that once they were here, of course, the right or Donald Trump or whomever was in his position would try to deport them? Did they know how much legal question would surround these deportations?
Well, it's easier to let people in than to get rid of them. I mean, that's, the history of that has demonstrated, although past presidents dating back to Barack Obama, George W. Bush, have evicted millions of people during their terms in office. So it's not particularly new. I think the methodology being employed under the Alien Enemies Act is certainly a new one. But it is not unique. 4 different presidents have invoked the act. The last 3 were all Democrats, and 2 of them did it after wars had ended. So this canard that, it has to be a time of war is, utterly false. So, look, Joe Biden made it abundantly clear he wanted to open the border and allow millions and millions of people to come in with little vetting or background checks. And as a consequence, he has blood on his hands. People died because of this. And we are covering all the time cases like Lake and Riley, where a violent illegal committed murder. And there are others who have committed rape and assault and battery and theft and so forth. So it is a Herculean task for a successor president to try to fix what Biden broke.
And an important one as well, and clearly to the American people, because he really said what he was going to do before he got elected. And now that he's elected, he's certainly trying to do it. When I hear, I think it's Stephen Miller the most, speaking very directly about the status of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's in El Salvador, of course, the Maryland senator going to visit with him. Stephen Miller has said that upon facilitation of his return to, I suppose, Maryland, or at least the United States, that he would immediately be deported once again, that his status in the country is an illegal status. And should El Salvador agree to return him, and and the United States provide a plane to get him back here, that they would have legal rights to deport him immediately upon his return. I don't know if I'm summarizing that correctly, but I'd like your legal thoughts on that.
Yeah, he's right about that. I don't think he'd be returned to Maryland, but he'd probably be returned to the same detention center from which he came. I think that one was Louisiana, or it could have been Texas. I don't remember. But, I think what people fail to comprehend, and Judge Paula Zinnes, who ordered Trump to effectuate the return of Garcia, it's a fait accompli. She cannot. She has no jurisdiction over somebody held in a foreign country, in as much as she holds no power to tell a sovereign nation what to do. And the president of El Salvador made it abundantly clear he has no intention of releasing a suspected terrorist onto the streets of the country, much less returning him to the U.S. And Zinnes has no ability to force him to do that. So, frankly, I think the Garcia case is over.
Well, we will continue to watch. I know there's a lot of political hay being made around that particular case, but legally it seems as though the administration feels pretty solid on it. If we can shift real quick to a different issue that has me very interested, it's the DOJ's lawsuit charged against Letitia James. Now, there's mortgage fraud involved. It seems as though there's some details that are ironically similar to what she tried to or I guess successfully charged Donald Trump with. Do you feel like the mortgage fraud charge against Letitia James is something that is strictly for political discussion, or are we going to see this taken, potentially into court? Is Letitia James in legal trouble?
Oh, this is really serious. I mean, she's looking at a potential indictment, trial, conviction, disbarment, being removed from office as Attorney General. designating Virginia as her primary residence when by law New York must be, listing her father as her husband, buying a 5-unit structure and then listing it as 4 units, all of this to obtain, mortgage and insurance rates that were lower and more favorable. So if true, and by the way, the documents would appear to speak for themselves, it's a violation of federal statutes, wire fraud, mail fraud, bank fraud, false statements to a financial institution. I'm always amazed at the rank hypocrisy of politicians, so quick to accuse others what they're guilty of doing themselves. I mean, she famously intoned to Trump, no one is above the law. And that, she argued that he's responsible for documents prepared by others. So how can Letitia James now use a defense of, well, I didn't prepare the documents, I had other people do it? And unlike Trump, she's a lawyer. I mean, she knew or should have known better than a layperson that those documents were false and misleading. She's on record stating in the Trump case that accuracy on financial records is essential. It must be strictly enforced. So by her own publicly stated standard, it's going to be very hard for her to defend herself. The government has successfully prosecuted a lot of people for doing precisely what James is alleged to have done. The Baltimore State Attorney, Marilyn Mosby, for example, convicted of mortgage fraud. So, I think she's in serious trouble here.
We're speaking with Gregg, Jarrett, Fox News legal analyst, our expert friend here, to talk about these issues that we hear spoken about in the political sense quite often. But I think that getting down to the brass tacks of these cases is really important for people to make sure they understand the basis of what is being discussed. So as I understand what you're saying, you said it's in print. The things that are involved in this lawsuit, as far as I wrote down here, her father being listed as her husband, I don't understand that at all. But her also listing a Virginia home as her primary residence. I mean, that's indisputable fact that she did that, correct?
It is, although I sort of anticipate what her office has leaked is, well, she gave power attorney to a relative who prepared the documents. Well, by her own standard, as I say, that doesn't matter. And the fact that she's a lawyer and signed off on documents, what, did she not review them? I mean, every lawyer is taught review every page, every paragraph, every word to determine their accuracy before you, put your name on the bottom line. And, that's not going to be a very viable defense based on her own standards. So, and this is in federal court. It will be if there's an indictment because it's a criminal referral to the feds, because among the things she's accused of doing is defrauding government mortgage providers, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So the feds have jurisdiction over this. I think it's going to be tougher for her than in a state court.
Yeah. So, when I hear you explaining this, there would be actual victims of this crime. You could point to the people who were defrauded, unlike the Donald Trump situation where they couldn't find a victim. And then also with the Trump case that Letitia James brought against him, he too was saying that he had people who were, if it was a clerical error, he wasn't the one filing the paperwork and doing the paperwork. So the parallels here seem to be very, very ironic.
That's right. And in the Trump case, it was brought under a consumer protection statute in which no consumer was harmed. And in fact, Trump paid off the loans early, and the banks that loaned him the money made enormous profits such that they wanted to lend him more money. And of course, the judgment of $500 million was utterly absurd. And ironically, we are still waiting and have been doing so for a long time for the appellate court to weigh in. You'll recall that during the oral arguments, things did not go well for Letitia James. The appellate judges were highly critical of what they perceived to be the manipulation of the law for political purposes. And I think they were right about that. So, I don't know if they're going to toss out the entire conviction or knock down the penalty to a reasonable amount. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, we appreciate that. We'll be reaching out to you again as these stories develop, and there's always something to talk about, and you're always a great source of fact for us. We appreciate that. Gregg Jarrett, thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure. Take care.
You as well. Bye-bye. Gregg Jarrett is the Fox News legal analyst, former defense attorney and law professor, expert that you can read at Gregg Jarrett on X, but also thegreggjarrett.com. He's always got very interesting insight. YouTube live chat poll for today. Should legislatures outlaw school mascots they deem derogatory, yes or no? I'm just going to tell you right now, these are fast-moving details, but there's going to be a rally, a positive, nonpartisan rally, and our point is going to be to emphasize local control over these issues. Local control. Do you want state legislatures coming in and telling you exactly how your high school mascot should be represented and so on and so forth? That's the YouTube poll. Should they be able to outlaw mascots they deem derogatory? That's happening in the state of Illinois right now. The House has already passed it in the state, and the Senate is going to be voting on it, not this week, but I think the next week. So just mark on your calendar. Details will be provided as they are established Sunday at 2:00, and I'll tell you more details on the location and all of the different places that are involved. If you are in a neighborhood like Collinsville is likely where it's going to be. I have a location, but I just don't want to say it out loud yet. But we're going to meet in Collinsville because it's kind of in the epicenter of these different places that would be involved. If you're in Freeburg, if you're in Mascoutah, if you're in Granite City, if you're in the listening area and you've got a mascot that's on the chopping block due to the Illinois State Legislature, please reach out to me on the Annie Frey Show Facebook page, or you can email me at anniefreyshow@gmail.com, FREY, and contact me, because when the information is going to be released, we want a massive, unified, positive, please allow local municipalities to make these decisions. I don't care how you vote, who you vote for. My understanding is Katie Stewart in the 112th, who I have criticized many times, did vote against this bill. We're inviting all of the people who are in that support region to come out and speak. So I'm going to tell you right now, Sunday at 2, more details to follow.
I think I said off air last week when we were just talking about the nexus of this thing. This is really a bipartisan issue. And you quickly said it's actually a nonpartisan issue.
Nonpartisan.
I've seen so many people. I live in Collinsville. I've seen so many people from very, very different political persuasions all saying, why is this happening? This is ridiculous.
And you know what? If Collinsville came together as a community and said, we got to get rid of the K-Hawk. I don't know why we're doing this. I'm ashamed of it. If they came together and did that and renamed it, that's their right to do it. It's their mascot. But the connection specifically, I know with tribes and Collinsville, there's a connection there. There's a thoughtfulness to it. And if Collinsville wants to preserve it, they should have the right to preserve it. If they want to change it, they should have the right to change it. The Mascoutah Indians, the Freeburg Midgets, the Granite City Warriors, which has a Native American as a mascot. These are all already, according to the House, the Illinois State House, they have been voted in favor of HB 1237, which is to eliminate them. You have to eliminate anything new you buy has to be different. Everything that you have would have to be replaced by the end of the 2028 school year, which will cost millions of dollars for these school districts. So if you're in these communities and you want to see millions of your tax dollars that are going to the schools go to a friendlier mascot, you're an HB 1237 fan. If you aren't, Sunday at 2, details to follow. Please go vote on the YouTube live chat poll. If we get 300 votes on this poll today, we're going to take calls at 2:00. We'll see if people want to discuss this as an issue here on the show, which is what we've been doing here lately. At 2:00, we'll take your calls. If we get over 300 votes, go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and we're broadcasting live there. Should legislatures outlaw school mascots they deem derogatory? Yes or no? If you have trouble finding the live broadcast, you can go to anniefreyshow.com. You'll see our live YouTube player. It's right there. That's the live video. If you click on it and go to YouTube, you'll see the live chat right underneath it. Quick break. Wiggins America and the Monday Roundup next.
By the time I recognize this moment,
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
that it somehow lingered on when all I gets
Stewart's American Mortgage is where you go to get the best possible deal on your new mortgage, whether it's a brand new house and a new mortgage, or if you're doing a refinance. I'm a 2-time bagel loan refinancer myself. With Stewie, I trust him. You can as well. I trust him as a customer. And when I speak to you, I speak as somebody who has gone through this process not once, but twice. Because for me, rates kept coming down. I bought my house in 2015. I think I refied in like 2018 and then 2020 or 2019 and 2021. What a smart deal that was, because my rate is super low and it didn't cost me anything to go through the process to lock in that crazy low rate. Rates are a little higher than they were then, but they have come down from their high highs. If you've bought a house in the last 3 years, 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. The magic behind the bagel loan is that you pay $0 in closing costs. They're not hidden. They're not tucked away. Nothing. No dollars in closing costs at all. Make the smart move and call 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226-715.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches on my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said, I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year, this year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down, 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
When a parent struggles with addiction or dies from a drug overdose, what happens to their children? Far too many end up in foster care, unable to ever return to their birth homes because it's simply not safe. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is fighting the clock so that teens don't age out of foster care, leaving them at a higher risk of addiction and other negative outcomes that can happen to a child without the love and stability of a permanent family. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is: should legislatures outlaw school mascots they deem derogatory, yes or no? As Annie said before, too, if we get to 300 votes on this, we're going to take calls on it in the 2 o'clock hour. And we'd love to hear from you, whether you live in one of these areas that your high school might be affected, your mascot might be affected, or what you just think about this topic in general. Find the YouTube live chat poll by typing in Annie Fry, and today's date will come up along with the live stream, which you can view. You can watch the show there and comment and vote. 12:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Brian Kilmeade.
Letitia James, a left-wing radical, has decided, they looked into her background. She lied on financial forms, just like Trump. Rules are rules, no matter how powerful you are.
The Mark Reardon Show. Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins. Oh! Monday Roundup. Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Absolutely. And I love that we got the Celebrate song coming in. That's very nice of whoever put that in today. Let's go with first.
Who sings that song?
Is it Cool in the Gang?
Cool in the Gang. I was like, it starts as a K. So when I turned my car on when I was 16 and I got my license and I got in the car for the first time to drive by myself, I turned it on and that song was on the radio from the very beginning of the song.
That's pretty cool.
I don't like the song other than that, but I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
I just enjoy it because I was alive for the 1982 World Series run. I was one.
He was actually the bat boy for the team.
I was the cutest bat boy ever.
Yeah, you were 25.
First story is that the Mayo Clinic is renaming its DEI office to Office of Belonging.
That'll sneak by.
In keeping with this focus, recent national events, we're embracing an opportunity to accelerate Mayo Clinic's belonging journey to reflect our culture of collaboration, respect, and support positive patient experiences. Annie, this isn't Annie, are you okay? But
I was going to say,
and it sounded like it was going to be. Do you think this is going to be an issue the Trump administration has to face? Is they're just going to rename all these offices?
Well, it depends. What are they doing with that office?
I think that they have indicated that they're going to just keep doing what they were doing with it.
I don't know what the Mayo Clinic was doing before.
They just said they're going to have the same office and rename it. So,
well, it would depend on what the office is doing. I can't say that I would be opposed to the Mayo Clinic encouraging people to feel like they belong. Do you have to isolate and eliminate people in order to make that happen? That doesn't feel like belonging. Is it belonging for some, but not all? I don't know. But it really depends. I think conservatives can really trip themselves up by looking at things that are, it's almost like a good, we could do a whole segment on this, like a good HR department, a good employee workplace emphasis. There is a sweet spot. You can definitely not do enough to make people feel good at work. You can definitely not do enough. You can definitely do too much. The question is, do you do too much or not enough equally? And if you're acknowledging, is Women's Month March or something, February is Black History Month. Like if you're acknowledging that stuff for whatever particular reason, I don't see that stuff and get angry. That stuff doesn't make me angry. But when you're hiring people, if you're hiring people based on a demographic before you look at their qualifications, that makes me mad.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends. Like we need to not trip over our own toes because we just have a very overarching idea of what businesses have always been trying to make people feel comfortable. We just have such an inverted understanding of what that is anymore. And we've decided we want to make some people comfortable. And in turn, not forgetting other people, they want to make other people feel uncomfortable. Like that's part of the process.
Yeah.
The capital P process. I ain't in favor of that, but if you like, we have some sort of employee engagement task force here.
Mm-hmm.
Task forces.
They do a good job of bringing us cake.
It's great what they do.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with what they do. That's different than the DEI stuff that as a conservative and as somebody who believes in equal rights, those are two completely different things. If you're getting a Starbucks gift card for your birthday or an acknowledgement for an anniversary or a high five for a job well done, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Also, just want to point out that we don't have a men's month, but I'd be fine with that being July or August. Sun's out, guns out. All right, let's go ahead and hit that again. Southern California mayor
I'm swallowing all my good jokes today.
says,
what's wrong with me?
What possible joke could you make about Suns Out, Guns Out for me? Southern California mayor says he wants to
I just did it again.
purge a homeless population.
Give me that bell. Every time I don't say something, I'm gonna. There you go. You can just ring it for me.
That's you doing a good job.
Thank you. Again, I just go on.
Southern California mayor says he wants to purge homeless population by giving them all the fentanyl they want. What I want to do is give them free fentanyl.
This is real.
This is real. This is real.
And where's this person from?
Lancaster, California. The mayor, it sounds like he is not part of the whole the blue state initiative.
Is this a red?
On
is this a Republican initiative?
He's a mayor, so he doesn't run as as partisan. But he says, what I want to do is give them free fentanyl. He went on to say that he's saying this because he's just trying to get attention for the problem because it's so out of control.
Here he is.
That they don't know what to do. And here he is making national news.
Was it a Babylon Bee article that I read that was talking about releasing bears? Probably.
I wouldn't think that would be real, but
there's some sort of California initiative that's going to protect, you know how in California they were protecting the fish and they didn't have any water for fires. There's something about protecting the bears. And I can't remember if it was a real story that they were going to release bears or if it was a bee story that was in order to curtail the homeless problem.
That's the tough thing about us doing Bee or Not.
And when I saw that story, I thought that's absolutely horrific and awful. And now we've got a real story of someone saying fentanyl. I wonder if they're connected.
He says they are, and he's talking about criminal elements within the homeless population, which has now become 40 to 45% of what is referred to as the homeless population in his town. He says this 40 to 45% are responsible for most of our robberies, most of our rapes, and at least half of our murders. Just this small portion of people. He said he didn't offer a whole lot of data to support this. But there's nothing we can do for these people. And so he's just saying, I want to think outside the box. I don't think he's actually suggesting giving them fentanyl, but he's like, look, nobody will address these problems and they're not going away. So we have to do something. What do you want to do about it?
I don't know about that.
Last one, because it is Easter Monday, which apparently is a thing now. The candy peeps. Well, Easter Monday.
It's not a thing now?
Yeah. Have we always said Easter Monday the day after Easter?
Yeah.
I don't remember saying that a long time ago. I think I've been saying it recently, though, like it's a thing. Easter Monday. All right. The candy.
Ring that bell.
Did you hold off again? Good for you. The candy peeps. Has
a thing now?
Announced that
there's a new marshmallow Easter treat, and they look like little bunnies.
Covered in sugar.
Apparently, they call them peeps.
I'm going to retract this bell if you're not careful.
You can't. Once you've rung that bell, you can't
unring it.
They are looking for somebody to take over as their chief peeps officer.
What?
This person will get paid $1,000 and tons of peeps. An additional $200 for groceries. They go around and they just look to make sure convenience stores are carrying the right flavors. Cotton candy, Dr. Pepper, fruit punch, icy blue raspberry, party cake, and Rice Krispie treats.
Peeps, yay or nay, Ryan?
Nominee.
Brad?
Nay.
I don't think I've ever had one.
Really?
I don't want one.
Apparently they're fun in the microwave.
Like to eat or just to watch?
Just to watch.
Oh,
they blow up.
Right. Let's take a quick break. Go vote in the YouTube poll. We'll be right back.
You have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
In morning, Gianna Gelosi, Fox News. A period of mourning begins after the Pope's death earlier today. Fox's Greg Palcott.
Just one day after appearing on the balcony of St. Peter's for an Easter message for tens of thousands, and then taking a Pope-mobile ride around the square, and after weeks of debilitating illness, 88-year-old Pope Francis, the first Pope from the Americas, a symbol of humility and compassion for the poor and downtrodden, has passed away. Taking over in 2013, he brought a new style and tone to the papacy. He was not afraid to take on big issues outside and inside the church. Reaction around the world has been uniformly warm. King Charles praised his compassion. French President Macron, his humility. President Trump posting, "Rest in peace." Kind thoughts for a man dubbed the People's Pope. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
President Trump orders flags to be flown at half staff.
Flags on military bases and federal buildings will fly at half staff through internment of Pope Francis, President Trump has ordered.
He was a good man, worked hard. He loved the world, and it's an honor to do that.
Vice President J.D. Vance met with Francis at the Vatican on Easter Sunday, one of the Pope's final public events. In a statement, Vance says he will always remember Pope Francis for the homily he gave in the very early days of COVID, calling it really quite beautiful. President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump met with Pope Francis in 2017 during the president's first term. At the White House, Jarrett Halpern, Fox News.
Timothy Cardinal Dolan speaking from New York.
So we ask mercy upon his noble, eternal soul. You bet we do. He'd want us to. He was such an eloquent preacher of divine mercy. But we also offer gratitude to God for the gift, the gift that he was.
Pope Francis was 88 years old. America's listening to Fox News.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. The brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk. Wireless by Americans for Americans.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/today. Ethos.com/today.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Build
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
A pretty nice Monday afternoon of weather, partly to mostly sunny skies. It's a little on the windy side, though, but nice temperatures, 71. Tonight, clear skies, 60s for evening plans, 51 for the overnight low. Tuesday, sunny. Let's warm it up quickly to 80 degrees Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, partly sunny, couple of spot-limited showers, 80, but increasing rain and thunderstorms Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
Men, are you just not feeling it? Could be your testosterone. U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peter's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. Check out the testimonials at usmensmedicalcenter.com. Patients are excited about feeling great, having energy, improved libido. Plus, they love the staff and the fact that they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Spring's coming. Enjoy it. Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333. usmensmedicalcenter.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Oh man, we're making decisions off the air.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
It's good. All right, calm down.
All right. I got things to do.
Well, we got, okay. But
So-
you got to do your show first,
I
then the
know.
other thing.
The show is the epicenter of all of it.
Yeah.
So, if you guys didn't, do you know how many times I watched Friday's segment of you guys giving me birthday gifts?
I watched it about 4 times, the clip you sent.
If you go back to Friday, what would it have been the last segment, right?
Yeah, last segment.
Maybe 2:45
Yeah.
would lead into it. So Friday was my birthday, and it was a great birthday. But that's not exactly what this is about. But the gifts that I got from Brad has hustled his butt off and got me White House press passes. So you might not have been listening on Good Friday, but yes, I'm going to the White House and I'm going to be a part of the press pool. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Set it up.
So I have been, initially I reached out to my contacts at the White House. Most of you listeners know who I'm talking about.
Well, my man, Will Scharf.
And I said, hey, I want to get Annie something really cool and unique for her birthday.
It's so cool.
And
So and we're going to get to Ryan in a minute.
I floated some ideas, like maybe a pen that Donald Trump had used to sign an executive order, or something along those lines, something that you can't just buy, something that would be historic and unique. And
he could have just sent you a Sharpie, you know
he really could have.
You have no idea.
Yes, absolutely. He wouldn't do that because
I will do that.
I know you would, but he wouldn't because he is a great person and an awesome friend.
We'll get to Ryan in a minute.
And then there's you. No. But he's like, I got a better idea. And then he said, hang tight for a second. And so then he texts me back and he's like, how would Annie like to go and sit in a White House press briefing and maybe travel with the press pool for a couple days? And
your response was,
I was like, that would be amazing. He's like, stand by, let me work on this. And so that actually, Friday morning, I was on the phone with some contacts at the White House trying to get it set up and understanding what it would be and all
the White
that other
House knows
stuff.
about this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking. Well, I am Annie.
People in the White House know about it. So I guess that means the White House knows about it.
So some of the possibilities, I mean, we're looking to maybe turn this around pretty quickly if I can make it work with my schedule and they accept the dates. But the idea is that I would do what we think.
So you would go, basically what I was talking about them with is you would go, and if Carolyn Levitt is giving a press briefing, that you would sit in the press briefing, maybe ask a question or two, and then
maybe ask a question.
Maybe, yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
Carolyn,
she
big
has
fan.
to, yeah, Gary Wood.
Start that way. Carolyn, Annie, big fan.
Yeah, I mean, she has to call on you naturally.
Yeah.
But then the other side of that was too, you would get to travel around with the press pool and do the press pool things.
Do what they do.
Yeah. And report back to, I guess, us,
the people
about what the White House is doing and all that other stuff. And they're coming up on their 100 days celebration. So maybe we can get you there for that.
The White House press pool is the same press pool that sits in the Carolyn Levitt press conferences, but I think it's also the same press pool that would go in at like 2:00 when he's signing executive orders.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I see Peter Ducey in there a lot. I see Caitlin Collins, a lot of the other.
You should walk in and just start talking to all the press, like calling them nicknames. Hey, what up, Deuce? Just do that.
No.
You could.
No, I could
You should.
not.
You should
Don't
do
even
that.
put that out into the ethos. Just
Like Caitlin Collins. Okay, what up, KC? Just anything you come up with in the moment. Don't think about it ahead of time. Do like I do. Never think ahead of time.
I can tell. So that was so cool. And I'm excited about it. I'm going to try to turn this around quickly while the invitation is still fresh. And they suggested to you that would be a good time.
The week after next. Yeah.
So,
or no, I'm sorry. Next week. Not
this week.
Not this week.
It was the week after
It was
next.
the week after next.
Then.
But that would be,
But
now it would
it's
be
soon.
next week. When will then be now?
Time. So interesting.
So what is your problem?
Fascinated by time.
You're
He
just-
sounds bitter.
Ryan, do you have a word quota today?
Just trying to get my thoughts in.
I just like to interrupt Brad.
Yeah. Brad's giving quality information and Ryan's just like
2 times.
I think I'm going to talk now.
Ooh, good joke right there. I'm just gonna slip it in. It's kind of my role.
I'm gonna wait for you to make a really good point, and then I'm gonna say some fancy word.
Lucky for you, and I'll make good points.
Anthropomorphism. So we're working out the details on that. And if you go back to the Friday episode on YouTube, please come subscribe. I gotta look and see how many subscribers we have right now. 11,790. We only need 210. We're over 12,000 subscribers.
Ooh.
So please help us get there, because I assume that this White House visit is going to be me observing a lot of things quietly in the background. I'm going to set expectations really low, and maybe I sit in a chair at a desk while the press pool is doing press stuff, and I sit there all day, but that would be cool enough. That's already far and away cooler than anything I could imagine. Anything above that, super exciting. We'll wait and see what happens. I have my expectations for what I get to do as super low, because the cost of entry is as cool as it gets. So we're going to put a lot of content up on the YouTube channel while I'm in DC, whatever I'm going to be doing there. I'm hoping to leave after a show gets done during the week, be there for a full day. If there's other opportunities that present themselves, like maybe a chance to go meet with some Congress folks or whatever that are there, I might like the opportunity to check that out. And then so I probably would be out 2 days, but one of those days I might be able to broadcast remotely. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe both. I have no idea.
Well, that's exciting.
I don't know, but bear with me. I know people are like, oh, you're taking time off again. I don't feel like I take any time off. I know that that's the way it might seem from the other side. I just took a trip with my daughter to Florida. That was actually kind of time off, like vacation mode. Friday, I'm going to be going to Schaumburg, Illinois. Byron Donalds is at an event there, and I got invited to come up there and attend this event and have an opportunity to have an audience with him. So we're getting invited to a lot of places, and I feel very excited to be a part of that. And so that's what's going to be happening here in the next couple of weeks. So you could go back and you could watch us on the YouTube channel. Come subscribe to the Annie Fry, Frey. Just type in Annie Fry on YouTube and subscribe. You can also see immediately after that Ryan's gift.
I want you to know, this is new information.
Oh.
That while he was trying to get you press passes to the White House, I'm trying to get you press passes to Universal Epic Universe.
That's actually true.
That is true.
But you're kind of doing that as much, if not more, for you than me.
Look, if they only give us one ticket, the person who contacted them probably should get it.
I'm sure. I'm sure of it.
But I am trying very hard. I had such a good time with you guys when we went down to Florida, the four of us back a year and a half ago. And I want to recapture that. And to me, that's the greatest gift of all is friendship. That's why
you
for
gave me
your
root beer?
birthday, I gave you a bunch of drinks that you may not drink. I gave you a 12-pack of root beer and orange cream. Have you cracked that open yet?
No.
Why?
I'm not saying this to be rude, but I don't drink sugared soda.
Ugh, that's so rude. I knew that you didn't, but I thought I thought your family might enjoy them, and they looked like a lot of fun.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I appreciate that you got me something. You also gave me a Scooters gift card.
Yeah, I knew you would use that.
I will. I need to upload that to my Scooters app. You said this Friday too. You said that you didn't know if I would like them, but you thought my family would.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like a gift for my family.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is a gift for your family. That's why I did the other one too, because I thought, well, maybe she would indulge
I didn't look
in
honestly,
one or two of these root
How much
beers.
is that Scooters gift card?
30.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
See? And then plus the root beer was just a bonus.
In that regard, I think it actually is.
So if you don't drink any, no loss. You got the gift card.
That's good.
But if you do, if there's a night where you're like, doggone it, that cream soda looks fantastic.
I've never in my lifetime had cream soda.
You're kidding.
No.
Regular red cream soda, nothing. You've never had any cream soda.
Mm-mm.
This is your opportunity to change your life.
This is an opportunity.
I think that you should go home right now.
All right, bye.
And go drink like triple fist all three of those things. There's orange cream, there's root beer, there's
How does
cream
one
soda.
triple fist?
Just figure that out. That's up to you. You put them all out on a table, pop the caps, and you just start going bam, 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 bam. See which one you like the best, and then get addicted to sugary sodas.
You have a touch of the diabetes?
Just a little. Yeah, I dabble.
How?
I genuinely don't know.
It hadn't occurred to me until you talked about this iteration of how I could drink that soda.
Yeah.
That was like a fantasy of yours to drink soda that way. Maybe you have done that before.
I've never really done that. I feel like that's indulgent, but it's your birthday.
Not anymore.
Well, it was. And I think that you should still consider the proposal that I'm making.
Amy says, Brad, gift of the year. Amy, tell us about Ryan's.
That's incredible. I mean, the way that, and Brad goes, here, I'll give you mine first.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
You didn't know that
I didn't even know what it was. He just went first, and I thought, that's fine.
You should go back and watch the video. If you heard it on the radio, I think I had some people comment about it this weekend, and they were entertained for sure. But when you go back and you watch Ryan's face the whole time,
I'm shocked. I got to appreciate a little bit that you guys keep me in the dark about some of the stuff that's going on the show.
There are always secrets.
There are.
Because we have to talk about things on the air. We can't have the whole conversation off the air and then
which I
duplicate
appreciate.
it. Yeah.
Like to find that out, that's a huge thing, which is why we're talking about it now. The fact that you're going to be in the White House
like cream soda
at some point, and to have that happen live for me anyway, because I had no clue. I knew that it had been discussed that at some point we're trying to make that happen, but no clue that you had pulled it off, Brad. Super impressed. And then to see that's your birthday gift.
He gets
and then
his case and goes, I got you this root beer.
I got you some root beer, knowing that you don't drink it. Have fun in Washington, D.C.
And a generous Scooters gift card.
And that's right. Very generous. And the fact that I'm working on the press passes to a theme park.
For you.
I'm working on it. No
Are you using my name to get these?
I might be.
I hope you're successful.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, look, you guys have to understand. She's a big deal. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Been to the White House.
That's the point.
Add that later.
When I hear these things, I'm like, ooh, this could get us like fast passes. Skip the line stuff. Here's a picture of her in the White House. You probably want her around you too, also, right? I don't know why I said two also.
As well. Anyway, it was exciting. My parents weren't listening on Friday, so they didn't know about that. So I got to go sit. I played them the video back so that they could see the White House press pass stuff. But I really wanted them to see you give me root beer. And they loved it all. At one point, I told him that the root beer was expired, and you look like you might have lost a year or two of your life.
I was so mad because I thought this will be fun, even if it ends up being mostly your family. Like whatever, we'll have fun with it. But then for it to be expired, I think my countenance actually fell. I was so mad that I wouldn't have checked that.
The look is great.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It wasn't expired.
It's my
though.
face. It was not expired.
I just did that to screw with you.
Yeah, you did.
And it worked.
Well, it worked for just as long as it needed to be working.
Is it really? And
which
I'm like,
was
no.
1 second. Yeah, it lasted 1 second.
Oh, man. Let's get an update from Capitol Hill with Ryan Schmelz when we come back. Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent. Always great to talk to him and kind of get the situation leveled for us so that we can know where we are in the big, beautiful bill, where we are with Congress. Are they getting the things done that they need to be? He is there on Capitol Hill, and he reports with us here when we come back. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. We get 300 votes. We're going to take phone calls on this at 2:05. Should legislatures outlaw school mascots they deem derogatory? Yes or no? It's happening in Illinois. Are you in favor of this? Yes or no? Give us your thoughts on the YouTube live chat poll. Ryan Schmelz next.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
STS-armory.com. I want you to visit STS Armory in their brand new location in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. They were in Pontoon Beach before, but they have a new building. It's great. You need to go in and check it out and talk to them about your needs. It can be different for everybody. Of course, the state of Illinois has varying restrictions on folks who want to exercise their Second Amendment rights. Katie and Jesse are abreast of all of the developments as they continue to happen. They are there to make sure that you are within the law, but also aware of changes that might be coming. They help you they guide you through all of this, and also to keep you aware, especially when it comes to your conceal and carry license, of where you can carry, where you can't carry, how you can carry, how you can't carry. They know these things so that you can have a resource. You can be part of the STS Armory family and do it responsibly, do it lawfully in the state of Illinois. Reach out to them online at sts-armory.com. If you want to contact them, you can also call them directly at 618-931-GUNS. That's 618-931-GUNS. And let them know that Annie sent you. Visit them in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, or online at sts-armory.com.
If you're a homeowner, it's time to upgrade your windows with Window World. Mark Cox here. I am a satisfied customer. I love the windows they put in my house, and there's a reason they're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in this country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They have that lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And in over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and the thermal efficiency of over 76,000 customers in the greater St. Louis area. Window World is now offering 36 months, same as cash financing, with approved credit. And I think the customer service sets them apart from the rest of their competition. And they have an excellent track record with the Better Business Bureau. They've also raised a lot of money, over $3 million for local and national charities. So be sure and check them out. Call them at 314-993-1800. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. You can also go to windowworld.com.
Experience the exhilarating atmosphere of a Cardinals game. Join the sea of red in the wave around the stadium. Feel the rush of excitement as a home run lights up the sky with fireworks, bringing the whole ballpark to their feet. Nothing beats the thrill of watching the Cards get the W with the final out at the plate. It's more than a game. It's an experience. Visit Cardinals.com for tickets and info. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Game tickets? Check.
A round of cold beers? Check.
Ballpark hot dogs? Check.
Baseball is back and nothing beats a night out with the guys.
Or ladies.
At a Cardinals game.
From thrilling games and mouthwatering eats to the iconic ballpark energy, Busch Stadium is the ultimate spot for you and your crew to dive into America's favorite pastime.
Make your next night out the best one yet. Join us at Busch Stadium, where every hour is happy.
For tickets, visit Cardinals.com.
St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast talk and disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This could be the 1 tax saving strategy for your retirement savings, and it's hidden inside IRS tax code section 1.408A-4. Discover what it is and how you can make your money go further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey, it's Sue Thomas, and this is a one-night class. It's taught by advisors from financial and tax architects. They have decades of financial planning experience, and they hold these at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis, and you'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing Social Security, paying for health care, and more. And they do it for free, but bring 3 canned goods for a St. Louis crisis nursery. There are a few openings left for classes this month, so register now by calling 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012. That's 314-947-2012.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save now with 2024 pricing and carrier cool cash rebates up to $1,700 on a new HVAC system. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Sunflower.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Sunflowers, sometimes keep it sweet in your memory. I was just tongue-tied.
You know, as you're aware, we have one of the smallest majorities in the history of America. And so we have to thread this needle to pass this one big, beautiful bill. And the president has been crystal clear. He's not going to cut benefits to people on Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. And the big, beautiful bill that we send to the president's desk has to address that. Are there reforms within those programs that can be included in this bill that will cut fraud, waste, create more efficiencies? Absolutely. And you can do that without cutting benefits. We have to make sure we deliver on this one big, beautiful bill. If we do not, Americans will face the largest tax increase in the history of America. On average, 207 million taxpayers will see a 22% tax increase. That is the last thing they need right now after they've seen an inflation tax of over 20% in the last 4 years in the Biden administration.
Well, that's Congressman Jason Smith, who will be on the Annie Fry Show tomorrow. But we want to get an update from our friend Ryan Schmelz. He's Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent. On X at Ryan Schmelz Fox. We want to know, Ryan, how is the negotiation going right now for this big, beautiful bill to finally make its way to the president's desk?
Well, it's still in the early stages. You know, the framework got passed, so you have the agreement that's there, which is, and the big one was always going to be tax law, and you got spending cuts. So 1.5 trillion on the record from John Thune, at least that's what he said he would agree to, $1.5 trillion in spending cuts. But that's also where it's going to get tricky, because I think there is a thought that there's no way you can get to 1.5 trillion without getting into a couple of things, which includes entitlements and also includes military spending potentially. So that's probably going to be the challenge here, is how do they come up with this money that's going to be enough to get Freedom Caucus members, conservative members like Eric Burleson and some other members like that on board, but then also not lose some of the more moderate members along the way.
Okay, so Ryan Schmelz joining us right now. As I recall, the Senate has passed something that they're sending to the House. The House has to get on board right now. Will the House?
They got through that part.
That part got done.
Yes.
So now,
so they passed the framework. Now they actually have to start the process of reconciliation, which is putting the pieces of it together and saying this is where the spending cuts are going to come from. This is what is going to be included in the tax cuts. This is what the energy policy looks like. So now, if you thought that was fun watching Republicans find enough members to vote for the last bill, when they actually get to the reconciliation process, it's going to be quite the spectacle to watch, because this is going to be challenging. Not saying they can't get it done, but like Jason Smith, the chairman just mentioned right there, they have one of the slimmest majorities in history, and just one member not liking what they see can cause a lot of problems.
yeah, certainly. So you get the framework. I think that people like us who are on this side of things don't really understand the gravity of how big of an ask this is. Ryan, when was the last time a budget was passed?
An actual a budget with appropriations and all that, the 90s. But the reconciliation process, which we're seeing right now, this usually happens whenever you have a new president take office and the president has control of Congress. So you saw Joe Biden use the reconciliation process. I believe that's how he got the Inflation Reduction Act through. Some of his other big legislative priorities, they were done through reconciliation. President Trump, first term, he used reconciliation to get the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act passed. And then President Obama used reconciliation to push the Affordable Care Act.
So when we talk about reconciliation, is the reconciliation process beneficial specifically because of the Senate's the majority that is needed there to vote? Of course, in a simple majority in the House, as long you said one representative for Republicans more than Democrats, you can't lose any more than that. In the Senate, it's different. It's always a higher bar in order to pass things there.
Yeah.
The reconciliation is what makes that different.
Well, and it's the reason why they like to use reconciliation when it comes to these big priorities, because when they use the reconciliation process, they don't have to worry about the filibuster. Everything is passed through a simple majority. So unlike the government funding process, usually they're going to need 60 votes and the filibuster is an active piece of that. But when they have the reconciliation process, they can simply pass most of this just on a simple majority. So they have a lot of advantages here. And that's why you've seen presidents take advantage of it when they've had control of Congress, because this is the best way to get really the big items in their agenda across the finish line. It's just to use the reconciliation process. So on the Senate side, Republicans can really afford to lose about probably 3 or 4 on any big issue. Rand Paul's already going to be a problem, so it's really kind of 52. And then J.D. Vance can break the tie on just about anything. But then in the House, it gets even more complicated because you have somebody like Thomas Massey and Victoria Sparks who were no's on the framework just a week ago. You add anybody else to that who's going to be a no, then the bill can get sunk. That's how complicated this majority is right now.
Ryan, is there even a loose timeline on any of this? Are they proposing that we try to get it done by this date, or are they just kind of going with the flow?
Memorial Day weekend is the deadline that Speaker Johnson has put out there, and that is the goal that they have for this. But I'm not saying it can't happen. It's just, I think the consensus around here is that it's a very ambitious goal to get to that point. But it's not saying it can't be done. It certainly can be. Just some believe it's a little ambitious.
So this bill, at least the details I've seen, do not suggest that they're actually going to balance the budget here. But between now and when they pass it, we're spending more now than after they pass it, correct?
I believe so, correct, yes. So if they're able to get to $2 trillion in spending cuts, they could definitely make a damper on government spending. But the question is, how much are the tax cuts going to cost? That's where I think some of this becomes kind of a question where the math is disagreed upon between, the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, the Congressional Budget Office, House Republicans, Senate Republicans. Even within the House Republican base, there's disagreements about how the math is going to add up. And so that's where I think some of this disagreement comes from. Now, there's some who believe that there are things like energy policy that's going to be in here that's going to raise a lot of revenue. And there's some other aspects of this too. I mean, yeah, keep in mind, there's like, I believe 300 plus billion in military spending and border spending that's in here too. So it gets a little complicated because there's ways in which they can raise revenue through reconciliation. There's also ways they can lose revenue too. So I think that's kind of where the math is becoming a complicated piece of this.
We're speaking with Ryan Schmelz. He is the Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent. We've heard the president talk about some of these executive orders that he's put into place. He wants to see them codified by Congress. Where do those? I mean, there's been a lot. There is so many that it's hard to even keep up with. I get the press schedule every day from the White House, and it just says like 3 p.m. President signed executive orders, and then there are more. There are proclamations and so on and so forth. How is Congress moving on making sure that these things that are signed in to action by the president can't be signed out of action by the next?
So when Congress gets back next week, they're actually going to be probably considering the first rescission bill that the Trump administration has sent to Congress. So that is going to include, I think it's about $10 billion, a little less than that. You'll have some USAID cuts in there, and you'll also have some cuts, I believe, to NPR and PBS. So that's not a lot of money that they're going after first, but it's the first trial, I would say, for a rescissions package. And this is another very easy process for the president. All that they have to do is send Congress what they want cut, and then the Senate and the House can pass that on a simple majority. So this is the first step you would see to maybe codifying some of those DOJ executive orders, especially when it comes to USAID. But I would also watch out for the reconciliation process and seeing some of those executive orders being codified through that as well.
I'm looking right now at the U.S. debt clock, and I have it up on my screen all of the time, Ryan, and the Doge clock had been added to the U.S. debt clock, and the savings per taxpayer, I was watching on Friday, I think it took like maybe 2 hours for the savings per taxpayer to go up $1, but it's now over $3,000. It's $3,059 in savings per taxpayer, based on what Doge has been able to track or claw back. Have you heard any discussion about the developments that might be taking place with the Doge efforts specifically? And then, we heard for a minute that maybe there was a Doge dividend that was coming back per taxpayer. I don't know how popular that was. It was interesting to talk about for a day. Where's Doge?
So a couple things on. I know there's a back and forth, I think, from people about how much the Doge savings are, how accurate they are. Obviously, the administration thinks that they're spot on. Some others will say that, it's not, that's a number that the data is not provided there for them to really be able to dive into it and see how accurate it is. But, and there's others who say too that, these are savings, but they can't officially become savings until Congress passes the rescission package and codifies those savings into law. And then officially, whatever that money the government's is spending on, then it officially goes away. Now, what you were saying, I believe it's kind of the reference that Elon made, I think, like early on when they were talking about, returning the money actually to people in general.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of got mixed reactions from Republicans in Congress. I think there were some who just said, look, there's no way that we can actually be serious about addressing the national debt by just paying people money and doing a stimulus package similar to what they did during COVID. And I think there's also a concern that if you did something like that, that would drive up inflation as well. So I don't think that's realistically an option of something that could happen, just because I don't think there'd be enough support for it amongst Republicans, unless there were some Democrats out there who would support it. But I haven't really heard anything like that just yet.
Ryan, I've asked you this question in the past, but I just wanted to follow up to see if there's been any changes because things are fast moving. If they pass a budget this year, let's say they pass it before Memorial Day, and it hasn't balanced the budget, how long does that new budget go into effect? How soon could they come back to it, say next year, and say, okay, now we can actually balance this budget because we did that last year? Like how quickly can that happen?
So normally the fiscal year starts at the end of September. Right now, the government's under what's called a continuing resolution, or a CR, that's funding the government until the end of September. So what Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune want to do is they want to do what's called the appropriations process, where they pass all 12 individual spending bills that fund different parts of the federal government. Well, normally they start that process in late September. We're now in late April, and we haven't seen a single appropriations bill proposed just yet. So, not saying it's going to be impossible for them to pass these appropriations bills and make up a full budget, but it's going to take a lot of work, and it's definitely going to be a complicated process. And here's the thing you're probably going to want to watch for too. With the appropriations bills and the actual budget process, you do need 60 votes in the Senate. So they're going to need some Democrats to play ball with them. And what has DOJ done? Is that maybe upset a number of Democrats where they're not going to get cooperation on it? Or Democrats, or at least some Democrats, going to say, hey, look, we know the makeup of Congress. We're going to have to do whatever we can and just try to find wins where we can. But if not, I mean, they could probably stall to the last minute. Next thing you know, we're going back to doing what's called an omnibus, which is, one giant spending bill that they usually pass right before the government shuts down, and it funds the government through the end of September again. So that's what they're trying to do. That usually it's an end of September to end of September timeline for the fiscal year that they normally work with.
Ryan, what you said earlier in this conversation that we haven't passed it like an actual budget since the 90s. Why? Why is it so hard?
Congressional disagreements usually add up to it. Waiting till the last minute. It's hard to do. I mean, just passing 12 appropriations bills, it's not easy. And you're kind of seeing just right now. I mean, if we want to give right now an example, new president, most of the Senate's time is eaten up just dealing with confirmations. The whole hearing process and having the votes on the floor and the debates on the floor, that eats up a lot of time as it is. So that's probably one of it. There's maybe the political will and the lack of attention to it. There's a number of factors as to why Congress has not been able to pass a full budget for a number of decades now. And if you were to ask somebody like Rand Paul, well, his theory is that there's the secret handshake that goes on, is that you wait till the last minute, Republicans and Democrats get together, each side gets at least some of what they want, and then they shake hands and they pass a bill, late in the process to avoid a government shutdown. So it depends on who you ask, but there's a lot of reasons for why we've never been able to do it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of amazing. 90s. Wow. Ryan, thank you for being with us today. We always love having you. We look forward to getting the updates as they continue to occur. You're the best. Thanks for being with us today.
Hey, thank you, Andy. Have a good one.
Yep, you as well. Bye-bye. Ryan Schmelz, the Fox News legal correspondent. I'm reading the wrong one. Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent. You can find him on X at Ryan Schmelz Fox, and he is always right there abreast of what is going on. There's got to be so much minutia that goes into what he does for a living, like all of the things, the wealth of knowledge that he knows in his head, that you've got to understand processes in order to relate it to the American people in a way they understand. Because, man, when people say it'll take an act of Congress to do something, that means it's not going to happen. I mean,
he just outlined why that's so tough.
Yeah, the 90s.
That was a vocabulary test.
Mm-hmm.
Omnibus,
Mm-hmm.
appropriations, reconciliation. Yeah. Those are all things. Rescissions. Those are all things that are impacting the budget of the nation. And this is what we do for a living, and it is hard for us to keep up.
Yes, so you can understand. Like, to me, it's interesting. One of the things that he said about why haven't we done this since the 90s? Like, good grief. And he said because it's hard to do, but he also said people didn't think it was a priority. It's like,
well, that's totally true.
It's so amazing.
Like, what is more important than preserving our economy in a way that makes sure that in case of an emergency, we can break glass and have some money that actually exists behind that glass, not just a printing press that screws the future?
I think that we've been down that road.
Unfortunately, that road is a circle.
It's a cul-de-sac.
It's just a track. And we're just going around and around and around and around. It's awful. Let's take a quick break. YouTube live chat poll. Should legislatures outlaw school mascots they deem derogatory? We want to know from you. You hear about the Illinois side of the river about the HB 1237 that is looking to make illegal mascots like the Collinsville K-Hawk or the Muscuda Indian, Freeburg Midgets, the Granite City Warriors. I wonder if you can be a warrior and not be a Native American mascot as your warrior. Someone said on in the chat that Calhoun might be the Warriors as well.
I saw that
I'll
comment.
have to look that up too. Are there more that we haven't mentioned that are in the crosshairs of the Illinois State Legislature that wants to tell you how to run your local communities? Good grief. I mean, is there anything they won't control? I think you could probably understand where I am on this poll, but we need to know where you are as well. Hustle over to the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll and let us know if you think legislatures should outlaw school mascots they think are derogatory. Oh, it's time. Let the legislature, let the state government handle your business for you. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Trying hard not to act the fool.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
aircomfortservice.com. My husband said something to me the other day, like, it's just that time of year. Are your allergies super setting in? There's a film of gross on top of everybody's car. Just the ick of being outside and the pollen. Bleh, it's gross, isn't it? Make sure that your home is your safe space from all of that nonsense with an air purifier from Air Comfort Service. This is an amazing way to purify the air in your home to get rid of your allergy symptoms, your pet dander that's bacteria, viruses, odors, and more. This air purifier from Air Comfort Service can help alleviate all of these types of symptoms that are plaguing you while you're in your home. I mean, of all places, this is a really smart move. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. You reach out to Air Comfort Service and talk to them about a whole home air purifier and work with the very best in the business. I am a multi-time customer of Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. I encourage you to give them the opportunity to make you the same. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around. Treatment has really saved my life. To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
YouTube live chat poll today: should legislatures outlaw school mascots they deem derogatory? This is, of course, a topic because they look like they might do that in Illinois. Yes or no, or should it be local control? We'd like to know what you think about this topic, and you can comment on the subject by going to YouTube, typing in Annie Fry, and seeing today's date and today's live stream, which we are actively on right now. Hello, you will see us live, and then you can comment and vote in the poll. Should legislatures outlaw school mascots they deem derogatory? It is 1:50. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. I'll be at the Busch Brewery in Washington, Missouri for The Purpose of Politics, hosted by TPUSA Washington. Join us Tuesday, April 29th for a panel discussion. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Would love to hear your thoughts on the YouTube poll that Ryan just mentioned. Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Say hi. We'd love to hear from you. I want to well, probably in the 2:00 hour, we're going to talk a little bit about the issue a little bit more in depth. And if we get up to those votes, we will open the phones and let you guys reach out and call and talk about it yourself. It's a lot of feedback. I have a lot of Collinsville people in my social media feed. So a lot of people have changed their profile picture. So let's talk about that when we come back. What did you guys do for Easter? Did you have, is Easter a busy holiday weekend for your family, Ryan?
It is, especially when I have to serve at church, which I did.
What does serve at church mean?
Serve at church means
have to.
Hey, I do. I had to. I was scheduled. I didn't say yes, I'll do it. They said you're going to do it. I was teaching Sunday school again, and when you have multiple, we always have a couple services. I think we went to 3 for Easter, and so they needed everybody possible to help serving kids. So that's an early start to the day, and then we just hunted eggs.
Do you guys have Sunday school? Do you take the kids out of church for the sermon?
To a certain age, yeah. Yeah, up to, I think, 5th grade. And then after 5th grade, they stay in the service.
Can they stay in the service if they want to?
Yeah. Yeah, they just provide Sunday school for the kids, especially the younger kids.
Can you go to Sunday school? Can you go to the full church service and then go to Sunday school? Or
yeah,
if you go to Sunday
both.
school?
The problem is then you're going to sit through worship 2 times unless you come late to the first one. But yeah, that's the way we do it.
Okay.
This is how we do it. We don't sing that song at church because it's not holy. Also, then we went to grandparents and we did eggs at home, then grandparents afterwards, and had some really good pulled pork, and that was the highlight of the day.
What's your Easter meal?
That one was brisket and pulled pork, and I don't know that that's a traditional.
That's not standard
holiday meal,
but it sounds great. Doesn't have to be standard.
It was great. And deviled eggs, man, I was just so full.
How do you like a deviled egg?
are there different ways to make deviled eggs? I thought you just sort of whipped the yolk and then you put it back into it. Yolk.
What do you put in with the yolk?
I don't know. I don't ever make them.
You don't ever make them.
My mom
a lot of different
sprinkles
ways.
some of that
Paprika.
red stuff on top.
Paprika.
And
maybe. I don't know what your mom's
people,
into.
That's what most people do. And I look at it. Here's my experience. I look at it and I go, that looks good. And then I put it in my mouth. That is the end of it.
Yeah.
That's as much as I think about deviled eggs.
I think deviled eggs are a divider of people.
I do too.
You love them or you hate them. You see deviled eggs and you either get excited or repulsed.
And I used to hate deviled eggs. I don't know if it's me becoming a man. I was a child at once and I became a man.
When?
And now I love deviled eggs. This was a couple years ago.
Yeah. Congrats.
But now I see them and I'm like, give me the vacuum. I'm going to eat almost every single one of those.
What about dessert?
We had some cheesecake yesterday. I don't think that there wasn't like a, well, I guess she did like a presentation. She put some.
Your
some
mom
kinda
is
eggs
going,
on
what
top
do you
of-
mean there
Yeah.
wasn't a presentation?
I had to be very, very kind there because I don't think I ate more than a couple bites of the cheesecake, but she did a lot of work to give that cheesecake to everybody, including the kids. They loved it.
Yeah.
Because it looked like Easter eggs.
Huh.
She put little like dabs on top of it that looked like eggs.
Dabs.
Yeah, a little dab will do you.
Icing?
How about you?
What about you, Brad?
We went over to my parents' house. I mean, yeah, naturally, church in the morning. Church for us starts at 10:30. We only did one service this year. And like Ryan, I was busy because I was serving. I didn't have to serve, but I like to serve my
He's
church.
really, really going in hard on that.
Yeah, I said have to, and he was like, "There's my talking point."
Yeah, that's my talking point. No, we did that. We did church service, and then after church service, we went over to my mom and dad's house, and we didn't have a traditional meal either. We had hamburgers, and we also did mac and cheese and baked beans and sloppy joes. I think my mom made as well.
Hamburgers and sloppy joes?
Yes, she made both.
It's a lot of ground meat.
Yes, but they raise cattle, so they have a lot of ground beef and stuff like that. So, and then we hung out over at my parents' house all day with my sister and my brother and their families, and then went home about 7 to get ahead of the storms that sort of didn't really show up for us. But
We had ham, funeral potatoes. You know what funeral potatoes are?
Is that the corn chip ones?
Are those
Cornflakes.
Yeah.
He puts Ritz crackers in, like cracks up a bunch, breaks up a bunch of those, puts it on top. Cheese, diced potatoes. They're so good. Broccoli salad and a lettuce salad and halved sweet potatoes and a huge ham. Did I already say ham?
Did you have deviled eggs?
Darn right we did. And we
How'd
did
you make them?
the Evelyn way. My grandma made them every year. How long were we here?
5650.
No, we're not.
Oh.
Give us more time. He's like,
That is 10 seconds from now.
He's intently listening to the deviled egg story. He was looking at me and I'm like, okay, no music. You have you hard boil eggs, obviously. Take the yolk out.
Yolk.
Nope. We don't have those. You take the yolk out and you mix it with apple cider vinegar, salt, sugar, and yellow mustard to the right taste.
Okay.
And that's it. And then you put it back in.
I'll be the judge of that next Easter. I'll come over to your house.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Eat all your food.
I'm surprised you didn't. And then for dessert, we had left. My husband and oldest daughter Jensen made desserts for my birthday, and they made my grandma's eclair cake, which is just an eclair. It's like a puff pastry, maybe vanilla pudding, Cool Whip, and chocolate sauce or something on top. So good, so
Can't forget
simple.
the pudding.
Um,
I always say that. I've been saying that for years.
And they also made a cheesecake for me. My daughter had never made a cheesecake before, and she nailed this one. So we had some of those left over. But I made a carrot cake with my daughter. And are we breaking now or
no? 1 minute. My clock is messed up. I was looking down. I was like, man, it says 1:44:54. That's not right. So we got a minute.
We'll be with you for a little longer, folks. It just keeps becoming time. And I'm not getting anything.
Let me tell you about what we ate last
Wait
Easter.
a second. I had carrot cake.
Oh, okay.
And we made Rice Krispie treats, which I think are one of the most underrated desserts that exist.
Mm.
We make regular Rice Krispie treats, and then we do another one that's 2-part Fruity Pebbles, 1 part regular Rice Krispies. They're delicious.
Mhm.
And then we made peanut butter chews.
What's that?
You don't know?
No.
Gosh. Do you know what a peanut butter chew is? Can I talk to you?
No, I haven't heard of those.
Go another minute. Go another 2 minutes.
Fox is gonna disagree. Do y'all know what peanut butter chews are? Are you kidding me?
I like chews and I like peanut butter.
Annie Fry YouTube channel, comment and tell us if you know what a peanut butter chew is, because my kids had never heard of them either. And I thought everybody our generation knew what a peanut butter chew was. What? We'll be right back. Don't go ahead.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Triton Exteriors. Not sure if you've noticed, but the storms seem to be especially bad this spring. If you had James Hardy Smart Siding, you wouldn't have to worry about it. It's not going to be damaged like in the 314-day storm. So we do roofing, siding, gutters, fences. We're always going to be the middle bid. We're never going to cut corners. We're never going to take advantage of you. Call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
Teachers shape the future. Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who'll make preventing pandemics their life's work. Sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who'll help combat climate change. And generating possibilities for a student who'll be the first in their family to graduate college. Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
We've just learned how the Pope died. I'm John Saucier, Fox News. Pope Francis is dead at the age of 88, a day after he gave his final Easter blessing. Fox's Eric Shawn is outside St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City.
Those are the bells. They're ringing in honor of the pontiff being called here the People's Pope, who spread the teachings of Jesus Christ with the same humility and spirit of the Savior himself. Inside St. Patrick's Cathedral, there is a giant portrait of the late pontiff on the altar amid all the flowers. He's to be remembered as a man who loved, an activist for social justice, who stood up and remembered the forgotten.
The Vatican's out with a statement, says the cause of Pope Francis's death was a cerebral stroke that led to a coma and irreversible heart failure. President Trump ordering flags of federal buildings and military installations be flown at half-staff in honor of the Pope.
He was a good man, worked hard. He loved the world, and it's an honor to do that.
Other world leaders are acting as well. Fox's Jonathan Savage is in London.
King Charles and Queen Camilla were among the final world leaders to meet Pope Francis when they visited the Vatican earlier this month. Charles says he's deeply saddened by Pope Francis's passing at the age of 88. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer paid tribute to what he called the Pope's tireless efforts to create a world that is fairer for all. Russian leader Vladimir Putin called Francis a defender of the highest values of humanism and justice. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni described the late pontiff as a great man and a great shepherd. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
And it's Patriots Day in Boston. Sharon Lokedi breaking the Boston Marathon course record, winning on the women's side with an unofficial time, 2 hours, 17 minutes, 22 seconds. Fellow Kenyan John Career winning for the men's in the 129th running of the Boston Marathon. America's listening to Fox News.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. The brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/today. Ethos.com/today.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Build month.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
A pretty nice Monday afternoon of weather, partly to mostly sunny skies. It's a little on the windy side, though, but nice temperatures, 71. Tonight, clear skies, 60s for evening plans, 51 for the overnight low. Tuesday, sunny. Let's warm it up quickly to 80 degrees Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, partly sunny, couple of spot limited showers, 80, but increasing rain and thunderstorms Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This could be the #1 tax saving strategy for your retirement savings, and it's hidden inside IRS tax code section 1.408A-4. Discover what it is and how you can make your money go further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey, it's Sue Thomas, and this is a one-night class. It's taught by advisors from financial and tax architects. They have decades of financial planning experience, and they hold these at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis, and you'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing Social Security, paying for health care, and more. And they do it for free, but bring 3 canned goods for St. Louis Crisis Nursery. There are a few openings left for classes this month, so register now by calling 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012. That's 314-947-2012.
I don't know if you heard with them, these energy mandates. Luckily, this year they stopped the continuation of this government mandates, but the new refrigerants did not stop, so that is out. So be careful, buyer beware on what you're purchasing. If you're looking for a new system and just want a common sense approach to picking a system, i.e., are you going to save money? Is your energy bills going down? All the stuff that we've been hearing for about the last 25 years. Bottom line is, when it comes to the efficiencies, it's going to be your house. I only have 60 seconds to do this in, so if you want a common sense approach and you are looking at purchasing a system or getting prices on systems, please call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. 314-293-2600, or on the internet is bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Men, are you just not feeling it? Could be your testosterone. U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peter's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. Check out the testimonials at usmensmedicalcenter.com. Patients are excited about feeling great, having energy, improved libido. Plus, they love the staff and the fact that they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Spring's coming. Enjoy it. Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333. usmensmedicalcenter.com.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not a married sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, happy Easter Monday. We're trying something new out today. Just calling it Easter Monday.
I've never heard it before, and therefore it's brand new. There is no such thing as Easter Monday, is there? Other than the fact that it's
I wouldn't
after
be
Easter.
surprised if it's on printed on calendars.
Easter Monday. I'm looking this up right now. Instead of, let's just go
What are
straight
you
to the internet.
What are you Googling?
Easter Monday. Oh, it just says Easter Monday.
The question is, like, I don't know what you're asking for to know if it exists.
Okay, Wikipedia says Easter Monday is the second day of Eastertide. What the heck is that? And a public holiday in more than 50 predominantly Christian countries.
Well, the church calendar would celebrate Easter for a period of time, up until I assume Ascension.
Is Eastertide like high tide or low tide? Does it have to do with the actual tide?
Kind of depends on the person, I think.
Or the time of year.
For you, I'd say.
Because it falls in different times of the year, of course.
Easter Monday is a thing. I don't know what you want Google to say to you that's going to make you realize that it's not brand new.
I've just never heard people say Easter Monday so much until this year. I guess so many people get the day off
I saw people asking, should Easter Monday be a federally recognized holiday? And I'm not really for that. I think we need less.
I'll ask you this. What exactly are we celebrating on Easter Monday?
It's just a federal, it would just be a recognition of Easter, which is on a holiday. It's on a weekend.
So it's just acknowledging Easter Sunday, but on a Monday. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to be clear.
I mean, I think people celebrate Easter, and since Easter is on a Sunday, which is a traditionally non-work day, that Easter Monday, for instance, are your kids off school today?
Yes, they are.
Why?
I guess it's the day after a long travel weekend.
You send your kids to a parochial school, correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
And you just relegated Holy Week to a travel holiday?
Well, is the rest of this week Holy Week?
No, that was last week.
So this Monday is not Holy Week. So it's
it's Easter Monday.
So it's just an extension of Easter. That's all I'm saying, is that we're just still celebrating the same Easter.
No. I just asked you why your kids were off this weekend, and you said because they had a long weekend of travel.
Yeah, that's why they asked me, why do we get Monday off? And I said, I think it's because people travel for Easter enough that they want to let people come back on their own terms instead of rushing back on Sunday night. You know what I'm saying makes perfect sense. You're just going to shake your head no matter what.
Ring that bell. Thank you.
We all win when the bell rings.
For whom the bell tolls. I'm looking at my sound sheet to see if there's something here I want to shift to, and there's really not. There's really not. I mean, the stories are all. It's kind of. There's kind of a refreshing loop to the news cycle these days. Donald Trump's fighting back on immigration that was out of control. Donald Trump is fighting back on government spending too much. Donald Trump is leading the charge on, government corruption and the deep state and trying to pull that out of just the accepted way that we do business. And I'm here for all of it. I'm happy with all of it. And we're midstream on all of it. We're also less than 100 days into his presidency, and he's already gotten the ball rolling. Is there anything that he said he would do that he hasn't touched yet? Can you think of anything that he campaigned on, that he said he was going to get to, that he hasn't started the process towards getting? Now, when we were talking with Ryan Schmelz in the previous hour, we were talking about all these executive orders. Seriously, every day I get the president's schedule in my email, and it will say multiple days a week, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., Eastern, president signs executive orders. And then Will Scharf goes into the Oval Office and narrates the Trump administration. And he goes, oh, that's a good one. That's an important one. And then he gives a spiel to the press that's all standing there around in the Oval Office around the Resolute desk. I'm trying to think of something that the president said he would do that he hasn't begun the process on. And I also am patient enough to realize that the amount of things that he has said he would move on, unless I'm forgetting something, I'm open to the possibility that he hasn't done or started everything he said he would do within his first 100 days. I know a lot of people want more tangible results from, they want to see people arrested for being part of the deep state or corruption. They want to see the handcuffs. I get that. I understand that. If you follow Kash Patel and you follow Dan Bongino on X, they keep saying, we are doing these things. You have to be patient. Well, I mean, to me, that's other than our insatiable need for resolution, for something, like I said, tangible that you feel like concludes the situation. It's not a 60-minute drama series on CBS at night. It's more complicated than that. And if you want to do it in a Loctite way, you're going to have to do it by the books with the documentation and the process in place that's going to make sure that whatever you're doing sticks. Has he not started something? Can you think anything big that he said he's going to do that he hasn't?
I can't think of anything that he hasn't at least started, because there were
There's a lot of loose ends.
There's a lot of day one promises, like I'll end the war in Ukraine and Russia day one. Well, clearly that has not happened.
He's also leaned heavily into it never would have started if he would have been president.
Over and over.
Which to me is in his mind, the explanation as to why it's not resolved.
He says that every single time you say the word Ukraine or Russia.
Never
you know, that would have
happened.
never happened if I was president.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. But you got to give the guy credit for actively working hard to make that happen too. It's just difficult. These are difficult things. So maybe the bloviated campaign promise didn't happen, and you could criticize him for that. The other one is inflation coming down day one. But the weird thing is hasn't gotten much attention. Inflation actually has come down. Mm-hmm. It hasn't gone down to zero. We haven't gone into deflation, which I don't even know if the economists would want that to happen. But inflation has come down. It just didn't happen day one.
It's also not being talked about in large part. And I think it's not being talked about in large part because if the tariff negotiations cause prices to go back up, that they don't want a delineation of Biden gets out of office, Trump gets in office, inflation goes down, tariffs get implemented, prices go back up again. Yeah. That's a lot to take in. So I think that, good grief, Joe Biden campaigned on being a unifier, being the adult in the room, and being the person who was going to take the terrible economy that they inherited, which was just COVID. The economy was gangbusters up until COVID. The entire presidency, they talked about the economy and Trump's economy and how they were going to fix it. And then Kamala Harris talked about their terrible economy and how they're going to fix it. Well, that's your economy.
It didn't work.
So it seems silly. You commented here the father story?
Yeah, I can tell it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, really? Oh, but
do I?
Yeah, you do, because I put it in our chat on Twitter, on X, and you guys said, "What in the world is this picture of this puppet?" Remember when I left town on Thursday?
Oh God! Did you answer me when I said, "What in the world
no,
are you
I
talking
didn't.
about?"
I didn't. I said I'll tell you in person.
Did I follow you? Did you?
I think
you
I
didn't
said
write that.
I think I said I'll tell you later or something.
Did I follow up and say that sounds good and I want to talk about it more?
Yeah,
I did not.
Yeah, you did. You texted me in a separate text, and it didn't say that exactly. I interpreted it that way, that you wanted to hear more about this fascinating story.
I feel like we can't not tell the story now, but I just want to apologize to everybody in advance because I don't know what you're talking about.
It's okay. It's okay. I was not here Thursday because I drove up immediately when the show ended on Wednesday. I drove up to Chicago to see one of my favorite bands, Super Furry Animals. The lead singer was in Chicago. They don't even tour together anymore, but the singer was there. And he's Welsh. English is his second language, which is very strange because if you're born in the UK and you're English.
What era is this band from?
They started in the mid 90s through 2015.
Do I know anything that they do?
Here, I'll pull up a couple songs and see if you recognize any of these.
You have to tell the story.
Okay.
You can't be Googling.
Well, here's one of them. I'll just play it and then Brad can bring it up whatever. Oh, there we go. He sings in Welsh a lot, so you may not recognize it once he starts.
Has it ever been mainstream?
They had a couple of hits, not
on the radio.
Yeah.
On other people's radios.
Yeah. See, it's not in English.
Ryan.
So anyway, I've loved this guy for years.
Did this guy tell you to get me root beer for my birthday?
No, that was the voices in my head. This guy was playing at basically a bar.
You can turn it off now.
In Chicago,
saying profane things and we wouldn't know.
Yeah, we have no idea. It's in Welsh. And he got to a part in the story of this one album he was touring on, and the album is about a Welsh explorer who discovered parts of America, basically, named John Evans. This is real history. So the album
thanks for the
tells the story, and it gets to a certain point where John Evans is in what would now be South Dakota, living with a tribe of American Indians at the time. And a Canadian assassin is sent to kill John Evans. This is a real historical story.
Stop saying that.
So
well, you're going in and out.
The part where I come into this story is nobody knows what John Evans looked like because he was alive in the 1700s and He wasn't rich enough to have paintings of himself. So they just have the singer has a puppet of John Evans on the stage the whole time. And he kind of talks to the puppet and he interacts with this puppet of John Evans. So during the assassination, he says, I need an assistant to become the Canadian assassin of this puppet. Well, nobody really raised their hand except me. So I raised my hand and
nobody, you say.
Had you had 3 sips of beer?
I had nothing. I was completely sober, although
lied.
maybe contact high because I'm guessing other people around me were high. The singer of Super Furry Animals points at me and says, come up here. So I walk up on stage.
Well, how many other people were at this concert? Is it
probably
more than a
150.
dozen? Oh, okay. 150?
150 people, I'd say. I looked around and I tried to count because I was curious too.
And high.
I was the only one that wasn't high. And
that's
so
not how it works.
He says, I'm going to give you a fake gun. You have to hold it up behind. You have to sneak up behind John Evans, the puppet, and act like you're a Canadian assassin that's going to kill him. And so he hands me a fake gun. I hold it up behind puppet John Evans. And then the singer, sneaks up behind me and holds a gun up to me. Now, there are pictures of this happening, and I have none of them because I did not know a single person at that show.
You went by yourself?
I went by myself.
And you volunteered to go on stage?
I did. So there are pictures of me with this singer that I have just thought is the greatest thing.
You drove
for
to
so
Chicago
long.
to listen to a band for one night.
Yes.
And you went alone.
Yes. Stayed with friends, but they couldn't go to the show. So it was just me.
Why couldn't they go to the show?
They worked the next day.
That means they didn't want to.
They didn't want to go.
that means that they were otherwise disinclined because they did not want to.
Yes. But
why didn't they want to
go?
go?
Nobody knows the band. I mean, seriously, I don't even have friends that know this band. That's how obscure they are. They did have a couple of like barely made it hits. They're really big in Europe, but they never cracked through in the United States. So I went to see, and that's why I had to go to Chicago. He never comes to the U.S. because they're not that big here.
You had to go to
so
there.
I go up there,
to serve in church.
and now there are pictures of me because I saw people taking pictures in the crowd, so I know they exist of me taking a fake imaginary gun from the singer of Super Furry Animals, assassinating almost a puppet, and then him coming
Chris
up behind me.
The band doesn't even know this band.
They're coming up behind me and holding the fake gun up to me. And it's like this moment in time that I would love to have pictures of and I will never see.
Is that why you're telling the story?
I want somebody out there who drove to Chicago.
You think that there's somebody listening to this show right now that knows anything of what you're talking about?
I genuinely hope so. It was at the Empty Bottle in Chicago, not a big bar, but enough that there were 150 people there. And I just hope somehow, somewhere, a photo makes it on Facebook on this guy's website and I get to see it because I would love to have it. So thank you for your time. I appreciate this PSA. And now we can continue with the rest of the show. And also I'm going to play this. This is a song in English. It's playing. There we go. It's a song about dinosaurs.
How are you not high? Am I high right now? I've never been high before. I've never ingested anything like that. But I feel like if I were high, this would have actually made sense to me.
Well, if you are high and you're listening to the Annie Fry Show in the afternoon, first of all, that's rare. Second,
I don't think it's rare.
Let us know.
I think our YouTube chat is familiar.
If you had a couple brownies right before the 2:00 segment and that made perfect sense, let us know. And now more songs about dinosaurs.
Did this go the way you thought it was going to go?
I didn't really know how it would go, but it's an interesting story. Fascinating story. People have been begging me to tell it. And I waited because I knew this is going to kill. And it did.
We're all dead. We should go to break. I'm sorry. Like I said, that was what I want credit for at the beginning.
What?
That I apologize to the listeners.
Oh, okay.
We got 6 minutes and 7 minutes. 6 or 7 minutes.
It's a good story. It's great. Probably make the best of.
Stop talking. I'm trying to go to break. Peanut butter chews. We come back. Don't go away.
I say, do you want a revolution? This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
The Retirement Advisory Group online at retirementkey.com, helping you late 50s, early 60s folks that are looking to retire. Maybe you even have just retired. You need to make some smart moves right now. And you need to be prepared to do that if you're approaching 59 and a half, or if you have turned 59 and a half, you've got retirement accounts. What are you going to do with them to make sure that they are safe from market downturns? I think I haven't seen it in the last 10 minutes, but today hasn't been a good day on the stock market. You want to make sure that you are in a position to succeed with the stock market, but not have to worry about your future when it turns down. That's where the Retirement Advisory Group comes in. You can talk to Bob and Tammy Kershaw and Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group and get a personalized income structure plan designed by them with you in mind of what your dreams are, what your hopes are, and what you've worked very hard to save and accumulate by calling 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. Talk to them about setting up a free discussion to learn how they can help you. You can find them online at retirementkey.com.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, Audacy. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsville. Victim of a car accident? Not choosing the best lawyer will cost you. But here's the good news. Since you don't pay unless we win, you can afford the very best. Kaufman Townsville. Call 314-500-5000.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Gregg, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is donating a bag of food to Open Door Animal Sanctuary for every AC clean and check performed in April. To schedule your AC check, visit aircomfortservice.com.
You're listening to The Annie The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I just need one more shot, have forgiveness. I know you know that I made those mistakes maybe once or twice. And by once or twice, I mean maybe a couple of 100 times. So let me redeem on myself tonight. Cause I just need.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. You guys follow Justin Bieber?
No.
Too much time with the furry pets or whatever you said.
Yeah. Super furry animals.
Furry pets.
Yeah.
Hey,
I do follow
question.
them.
Was this like a furry thing?
No, they existed before that.
Mm.
But I did have
I wasn't talking about. I wasn't talking about for them. I was talking about for you.
Oh, for me. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I was trying to meet people in costumes for sure, but not sexually. I want to make that clear.
You've definitely now made it clear. Thank you.
No, I used to. They
you
had
for the
a
extra
shirt
effort
in college in 2002. I bought a super furry animal shirt that just said furries.
Ooh.
And I did not know that was a thing until I was wearing it on college campus, and people started looking at me and saying, "Do you know what that is?" And I said, "No."
I'm playing on our live stream here the split screen of of Donald Trump with the Easter Bunny and Joe Biden with the Easter Bunny, and Trump's like, "Do you remember when the bunny took Joe Biden out? He's not going to take Trump out anyway." And then the Easter Bunny puts his little paws or whatever he has on the side of his face and shakes his head no.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Melania is standing next to him and laughing.
I got to tell you, you already said this, but the quality of bunny, I'm not trying to be partisan here, but the Trump bunny is a
bunny.
higher quality bunny.
Do you see describe for me the Trump bunny and then describe for me Corinne Jean-Pierre, whoever's in that bunny suit.
The top bunny with Trump is brown bunny in a nice suit or something, wearing nice clothes, very, very animated, like a Disney character. They're not talking, but they're letting you know what they're thinking by just moving their hands, and they're he keeps putting his hand over his mouth like, "Oh, I can't say that." And also just a solid costume. The bunny with Joe Biden.
You can tell in the Joe Biden one that the person who is very awfully as an imposter of the real Easter Bunny has to look through the mouth of the Easter Bunny.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay, because the Easter Bunny keeps looking up at the sky.
The Easter Bunny is tilted all the way. The head is very far back. So this person is clearly looking through the mouth at Joe Biden, trying to get Joe Biden away from the press.
Touching Joe Biden.
Yes.
And like she's landing a plane.
And waving big, too. And it really does look like, and this is more of a costume analysis here.
Yeah.
It looks more like the Trump bunny would have a little more difficult time walking in that suit because it's a little bit more authentic, a little more big around the waist, like a bunny, like a hopping bunny. The Biden bunny looks like somebody just slipped on a fuzzy suit.
A furry costume.
And is walking around in it. A furry costume, if you will.
Did you see any of these at your concert the last week?
Absolutely not. The super furry animals and Gruff Reese do not participate in those kinds of activities.
Have they said that? Or are you just saying that for
I'm
them?
inferring. It was kind of a pun, too. Inferring. Oh, my gosh, the times we have. Back to you, Annie. Should I send this segment to the super furry animals?
You don't do anything I say.
I think that
you
I
should
probably
do whatever
will.
you were going to do anyway.
I think I'm going to.
Peanut butter chews. We were talking about that at the beginning of this hour as a dessert, right? The beginning or maybe the end of the last hour. Peanut butter chews are like Rice Krispie treats in the way you make them, but it's cornflakes, peanut butter that you mix with Caro syrup.
Okay.
And is there anything else in it, Jared? I don't know.
Syrup, peanut butter, and cornflakes.
White syrup, yeah. And you mix it up, and then that's that.
Do the cornflakes stay crunchy, or do they get a little soggy?
Still crunchy, just like a Rice Krispie treat would be. Still got a crisp to it, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. There's really only one way to determine whether these are good.
Well, I still have some at my house. I should have brought them in. I have
Yeah.
so much extra dessert at my house. The ingredients are peanut butter, light corn syrup, corn flakes, and then, of course, a cup of sugar for good measure.
I'm in.
It's fantastic. I think it's probably better than a Rice Krispie treat.
Well, I'll be the judge of that tomorrow.
Okay, so I'm going to make you a salami, hard salami, grape jelly, and American cheese sandwich, and then you can have this is like the best second grade lunch ever.
Oh yeah. Can you make a couple of funnel cakes?
No.
Could you deep fry a candy bar?
I've already purchased those things for you before at the Midwest Wing Fest. And
I'm kind of ashamed that we've kind of gone over this territory already. I don't have any new tricks in my bag.
For sugar?
Yeah, like if you know that I love deep fried candy bars at fairs, there's not much more to me. You've discovered everything. That was the end.
You have probed the depths of Ryan.
All right, here's it. I'm going to show a picture, and we're going to talk about this picture. I don't know if y'all have seen it. Joe Biden tweeted on Easter a photograph of the family. And have you seen this picture yet?
No.
Okay, Brad, have you seen it yet?
I've seen it.
So Joe Biden tweeted at 3:15 p.m. on April 20th. We wish everyone celebrating today a peaceful and joyful Easter. The question is, does this photograph look like Joe Biden has been photoshopped into the top of it? Did Joe Biden's account tweet out a photo of him? He looks like he's walking by somewhere. I can't make it zoom in anymore.
It does look like that. At first I was like, oh, that's ridiculous. But then I'm trying to figure out, there is no way that guy got down on his knees for that picture.
He could be sitting in a chair. So it's Jill Biden is kind of in the middle of a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe a dozen people tops. What's the daughter's name with the long dark hair? Is that Ashley Biden at the top in front of supposed Joe Biden?
Oh, yes, that's Ashley Biden.
So the only people I recognize in this photo other than Joe Biden are Jill and Ashley. I know that to be a Biden daughter. I don't recognize any of these other people. Hunter Biden is not involved. His family is not in this picture as far as I know. Now, a lot of us get together with our families, and some people can't make it to the family celebration for any particular holiday. So the fact that Hunter isn't there, if you're looking for the most practical explanation as to why somebody is not at a family dinner, there are a lot of practical explanations that explain why Hunter's family wouldn't be there. Would you agree?
Yeah,
people are making a lot of hay also about the fact that Hunter's not included or like he wasn't invited, and it's like all inference, no substance whatsoever. But Joe Biden, everybody's wearing what I would call like Sunday casual clothes. The kids that are in these pictures, they're a great looking family, but the kids are wearing khakis and tennis shoes. There's looks like a grandson who's got a ball cap in his hand. T-shirts. There's some T-shirts in the picture. Joe Biden is in full presidential suit facing the opposite direction. And I don't think it's tweeted from Joe Biden's account. I don't think that's not how you would take that picture. You would put Joe and Jill in the front or in the middle and surround them with their grandkids or who I assume these are children and grandchildren.
I believe that Donald Trump really does wear a suit everywhere other than golfing.
Yeah, he's got his standard white polo shirt for golf.
I would think that Joe Biden would not wear a suit all the time. It just doesn't seem like him.
Well, he doesn't. He didn't. I mean,
that's what I thought.
You would see him sometimes wearing aviator glasses and a bomber jacket, or maybe he would be wearing not a shirt and on the beach asleep.
Yeah,
you know, there's all sorts of instances of him as president not wearing a suit. That picture just looks suspect. I'm not saying that it's shopped, but if it came out that it was shopped, I'd be like, yeah. Okay. I could see it.
I would be less surprised if that's a real photo than I would be if it were photoshopped. I think. No, I'd be less surprised if it were photoshopped than if it's a real picture. It just looks super, super weird. Well, and the question, the other question is, does stuff like this matter? The thing that I'm thinking is, the meme where it's like absolutely no one, and then it's like Joe Biden. He doesn't. If nobody is going to say anything about the Joe Biden X account not tweeting out a family picture if there's no picture. Nobody's asking for this.
Yeah, that's the thing that I would have chalked this up to. Oh, it's probably a conspiracy, and it might be. But the fact that the royals were actually tweeting out pictures of Princess Kate, I think that's what you've referred to her as.
Yeah,
that were photoshopped. That they admitted later, yes, those were pictures that were photoshopped.
The ones before they announced the cancer.
Yes,
they admitted those were photoshopped.
Well, she admitted it because she had photoshopped them.
I didn't know that had happened. That's interesting because there were like significant inconsistencies with the image.
Mm-hmm. And she said when she put them out, some people said because you can open the file somehow and you can kind of see if it's been altered. And so of course, internet sleuths do that and they open it up and they go, "Oh, this has been altered." I don't know how you'd figure that out, but they did. And then so she was forced to admit, "Yes, I've doctored those a little bit because I've been." In her words, she was like, "Oh, I've been playing around with Photoshop. I wanted to learn it or something," is what she said.
But so if this is photoshopped, I'm 70-30. This is photoshopped.
It just looks too much like it's photoshopped. The position he'd have to be in to be right there is so weird.
I don't like that he seems like he's the back afterthought. He's not sitting by Jill. You would think that you'd put Jill and Joe together. If you put them in the back, you'd put them together. It just seems like it was super convenient to add him into that picture in that way, but it's so bad. Now, I'm 70-30 that it is a Photoshop picture of the Biden family. If the 30 is correct and it's not a Photoshop picture, I don't know why you'd put it out and have it look like this.
It would have to be one of two things. Either he's standing in the porch, like they blew a hole in their own porch for him to stand in, and then he stood kind of at a weird angle.
I almost feel like he'd have to be kneeling down, which
or
he's
he'd
not
have
doing.
to be kneeling, which is got to be so. We've seen him walk. No, not to be mean, but for him to kneel like that in a full suit, it's not easy.
He also seems to be the only one staring directly into the sun with the way he's squinting and making that face. And everybody else is like, "Oh yeah, just look at the camera and smile."
The former president goes and does a speaking engagement. It's not the only thing that people talked about that engagement was how bad Joe Biden was. What was the speaking? What kind of event was he speaking at? I have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah,
what was he talking about? Don't know. But he was there. He was talking while the music was playing. We played sound from it. He was talking normal, and then he got into Angry Joe, which is my favorite. And, that's all that people remember. So you came out of nowhere. You came out of hibernation to do something that was panned for the same reasons you lost the election and went into hibernation. So that was last week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then this week you come out with this image. What are they trying to project here? Like, to me, Joe Biden is a non-factor for the Democrat Party future. If he is a factor, it's in a complete and total negative way. So is this just the Biden family trying to preserve some sort of legacy? Like, I think the best legacy that you could have if you're Joe Biden right now, if you're trying to preserve what's left of your political career, you just have to go away and hope people remember you for some of the good things that they associate with you, whatever those might be. Like, maybe he was a nice guy. Maybe he loves his grandkids. I don't know. I've said nice things about Barack Obama being a good dad. I think that, it's kind of complicated, I guess, now. Michelle says that they're not getting a divorce, and that's a silly rumor. But I've always felt like they projected the idea of a unified family well. I disagree with basically everything he does politically. There are probably policies, maybe, that that Barack Obama was interested in engaging in that, if presented the right way, I could have possibly supported. He was out there doging in some way, shape, or form before Doge was even a thing. But I could look at what Barack Obama, how he exemplified what a strong family looked like when he was in the office, and I commend that. I can't say the same for Joe.
I read somewhere, and don't know if this is an actual fact, but it sounds about like what he would charge, that he's asking $300,000 for a speech or a public appearance. And so this is, in my view, this is him just sort of staying out there, trying to stay relevant.
Do you think they need money?
I'm sure they're not turning it down. I don't know how badly they need money, but a $300,000 10-minute speech, I think I'd take that and advertise it like crazy.
I think I'd take $100,000 to do an appearance and not have to give a speech, so that I could do 2 more events afterwards and make the same amount of money, as opposed to one speech that might make sure nothing else happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let us know if you have seen this. I'm gonna retweet it on X at Annie Fry Show. Also, it's been up on our YouTube page. Let's take a quick break. Get the results to the YouTube live chat poll. Should legislatures outlaw school mascots they deem derogatory? We got 263 votes on it right now. We want to know what you think. You find us on YouTube, Annie Fry, or you can go to anniefryshow.com and see the YouTube video that's right there on the homepage. If you click on that YouTube video, you'll go straight to the broadcast, and in the comment section, that's where you find the poll. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
I'll take every single piece of the blame if you want me to. But you know that there is no innocent one in this game for two. I'll go, and then you go out and spill the truth. Can we both say the words and forget this?
Well, you know, the Annie Fry Show family shops at the Diamond Shop. My husband certainly does. I have purchased several things from the Diamond Shop as well in Clayton. This weekend, another person associated with the show managed to find their way to the Diamond Shop and be very, very satisfied with the process of going to the Diamond Shop, walking in, having a budget. I think that that's an important thing, is going in and knowing what your budget is and not going into a place that's going to try to beat you over the head with, you need to increase your budget. That's such a key thing. And they also have savings available regularly, like in the month of April, 30% off all in-stock jewelry throughout the course of this month. You can also save on that April birthstone, 40% off all diamond in-stock jewelry to celebrate those April birthdays. Save right now on getting something for mom for Mother's Day. It's less than a month away. If you're shopping for mom, if you're shopping for yourself, if you're shopping for a loved one, you need to visit the Diamond Shop. You can become a VIP. Just visit them online at thediamondshop.net.
National tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, Underdog Fantasy just became one of the best places to make entries during the basketball playoffs with their extender promo. With the extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. You start a playoff series by using your Game 1 boost and continue boosting each game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boosts. Underdog is a leading place to make all of your sports selections, and now you can play in Missouri. You want to get signed up with your username and a password, of course, and then use the promo code MARKR. I'm going to guide you into that in a second. Millions of fans have won billions making plays on Underdog. Will you be the next? And to play, all you have to do is download and then choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. And you can choose from things like points, assists, and more. Download the Underdog app and sign up with the promo code MARKR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code MARKR. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
If you're a supporter of the Second Amendment, you need to be a member of the Range St. Louis West. Mark Cox here. You know, they get free lanes and free firearm rentals. 5% off firearms and suppressors, 10% off accessories, and 15% off classes. The new benefit on Sundays from 10 to noon, the lanes are for members only. And in April, you get 2 free basic cleanings of a modern firearm. Check them out at 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin, therangestl.com.
Good afternoon, Mark Reardon getting set to go here as we start a new week, and there's still a lot of chatter about Abrego Garcia and whether or not he should be brought back to this country. We'll have all the very latest, including some recent comments this afternoon by our own Senator Eric Schmidt. It's all coming up here after Fox News.
The question for you from the Annie Fry Show today is, should legislatures outlaw school mascots they deem derogatory? Yes or no? It's the YouTube live chat poll. We especially want to hear, you have a little bit of time left, to let us know if you live in a school district that would be affected by the Illinois legislature passing a law that says, no, your mascot is derogatory. We've listed a few, but we want to hear from you too. Let us know by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube, and today's date will come up. You can see the live stream comment there and vote. 249. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Celebrate April with store-wide savings on all in-stock jewelry at the Diamond Shop, located at 12 North Central in Clayton. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. Stop in today.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
You show us everything you got. You keep on dancing and the room gets hot. You drive us wild, we'll drive you crazy. You say you wanna go for a spin. The party's just begun, we'll let you in. You drive us wild, we'll drive you crazy.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So there was a story that hit right before we went on the air at the beginning of the show. Kristi Noem, who we've talked about this more off air than we have on air. Megyn Kelly went in hard on Kristi Noem's, the way she is putting herself out there in her role as the Department of Human Service or Homeland Security Secretary. It's not believable. It's not relatable. We started to criticize Kristi Noem before she got selected for anything. I think it was maybe even during the presidential primary. She started doing endorsements for commercials. You remember she was like she endorsed a dentist or something like that. I think it was like was
like in Texas.
And there might have been like a mortgage something or other.
I don't remember that one, but I believe it.
Yeah. There were more than one for sure. And it's like, you're the governor
of South Dakota.
What are you doing?
And the companies weren't even from there.
And that never really I never really got an answer to why she was doing that. But then she came out with her book where she's like, yeah, I shot my dog, which is all I remember from her book. I don't know anything else about her book. It's just that she had a dog that was misbehaving, so she shot it. And I think it was a puppy.
It was young.
Yeah, it was not a full
It wasn't a
dog.
little bitty puppy. It was like a year-old dog.
Oh, that makes a difference.
It does make a difference if it's full grown.
I don't know that it was full grown. I don't know. The Kristi Noem thing, there are a lot of things that we can spend our time on other than like slamming Kristi Noem, but I just can't. I am not a huge Kristi Noem fan. If she's getting the job done, okay. But like, I love Marco Rubio. And when I hear Marco Rubio talking, I stop to listen because I think he has a way of saying things. I'm going to stop and listen to what Kash Patel has to say. I'm going to stop and listen to what Pam Bondi has to say. And I'm not the hugest Pam Bondi fan either, but I'm not a detractor of hers the way I kind of have I just wince when I see Kristi Noem. I'm like, what is she going to do this time? That's going to make me go, oh my God.
Yeah, it seems like she's just politically savvy enough to get where she's gotten, but she's missing something that tells her, no, don't do that thing. And she keeps doing the thing that you go,
you ever see those people who get in trouble of like, it's because I'm so pretty?
I use that defense all the time.
I don't think that about her, but she's just doing so much for her physical presentation. It's so much. I think she's always been pretty. there's so much there that it's distracting from the message. And I don't know why we would be doing that right now. Like, the point of hiring or appointing the people who Trump appointed was to make sure that the message got across. And I think she's a distraction from the message.
I think the same thing about Howard Lutnick.
That he's too pretty?
Yeah.
Her purse was stolen today with thousands in cash on Sunday night at a restaurant in D.C. Multiple sources from the agency confirmed to Fox News Digital. The purse was taken by by a white man wearing a mask. Well, that narrows it down.
What?
And the bag contained $3,000 in cash, as well as personal documents, including her passport, keys, driver's license, and DHS badge. Her entire family was in town, including her children and grandchildren. She was using the withdrawal to treat her family to dinner, activities, and Easter gifts. Crime in the capital city continues to be a major issue, including theft. When it comes to violent crime, it hit a 30-year low last year. So why does she have thousands of dollars in cash?
I was going to ask the same question. Am I missing something? She's got $3,000 in cash just in a bag with passports.
The purse was taken by a capital W white man. This is a Fox News report.
Weird. In D.C., though. This isn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like the way that's reported because it's like, I don't think that they would say black man.
No, they don't.
They wouldn't.
They usually don't.
There's an intention not to, which I kind of understand. Like, if you got a picture of the suspect, put the suspect up there and everything. But I don't know. I could probably go look it up some other crime articles and see like a dozen that say black man. But I feel like without giving me a photograph of who the person was, the purse was taken by a white man wearing a mask. Unless maybe white's his last name.
It's capitalized.
He's of the White clan.
It's the lead singer of the White Stripes.
Yeah, probably not.
Jack White took a bag from Kristi Noem.
It's just kind of weird. Rough Easter for Kristi Noem. I'm sure she's suffering. I bet they get her stuff back.
I bet they do. That's not the kind of person you want to steal from.
No. And you wonder if this white man knew.
He was wearing a mask, though?
Wearing a mask. Yeah, how'd they know?
What kind of mask? A Zorro mask or like a full face mask?
It was a mask of a white man.
He was dressed like the Hamburglar.
It was a Joe Biden mask. I said this earlier in the show, but we're working on a pep rally. I want you to mark on your calendar Sunday at 2 p.m. this coming Sunday to push back against Illinois' HB 1237, which is looking to ban mascots that the Illinois state legislature doesn't like. Ethan, back in studio with us right now. We asked you on the YouTube poll. What do you got for us?
289 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. Should legislators outlaw school mascots they deem derogatory? Well, we got a close one today, guys. Only 94% say no.
Oh, who are you 6%ers out there?
That's the Illinois legislature.
JB Pritzker is watching.
Yeah, right. I wish. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. A reminder, you can subscribe to the Annie Fry Show podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Go to anniefryshow.com. You can see a lot of stuff that has to do with the show, including a way for you to provide your feedback on what you love, what you like, what you'd like to see changed, and what you hate. It's all there on the anniefryshow.com website. The Mark Reardon Show, however, takes over on 97.1 FM Talk next.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season